G'day guys and welcome again to Tales from the Undertaker. My name is Michael from Ask a Pathfinder, and with me today, of course, is my ever-loved cast from Color Circuit. How you guys doing?
Good. Doing good.
Excited. Doing good.
Oh yeah,
How are
no.
you?
Speaking of excited, I am so excited. I am. It's been a while actually. Through to scheduling conflicts and all these other things, we've been doing side quests. We've had missing people, but now we're back together and we're ready for the thing that I've been building up for the past month, and that is, of course, the finale to Book 1, the Blood Moon Ball. What'd you see?
Oh, I just said us all dying.
Yeah, you all
wrong.
dying is
Oh
also,
my gosh.
that's just,
It's gonna be crazy.
that's part of it. So we've actually got quite a big recap today, and I'm going to do something special. I'm in fact going to recap the whole series in our with our, of course, favorite recap cast member, the Undertaker. Greetings and salutations, and welcome once again to Tales from the Undertaker. This has been a long and trying journey for our adventurers, beginning, of course, in the town of Seska, where these heroes have decided to take up the cause of the mayor and search for his lost nephew in the city of Carrion Hill. Little did they realize that the city itself was besieged by a horde of ravenous zombies. This, of course, was no problem for the heroes of the Howlin' Agency, managing to cut through swaths of the undead, rotten flesh and viscera falling at their feet as they heroically earned their names as the saviors of Carrion Hill. Not only did they save the people there, but also made acquaintance with one very interesting individual, a man by the name of Rosenvale Helsing, a member of the infamous Helsing organization, somebody who specializes in what, well, let's say they already do, the protection of Ustalav from all of the deep and dark and scary things that bump and lurk in the night. Rosenvale offered our heroes a chance to perhaps prove themselves to his other comrades and perhaps be of some use in the days to come. Meeting, of course, with the Helsing, Arthur Van Helsing, a large, imposing, blonde, and beautiful man, issued a challenge administered by his right hand. Sadly, the group was found wanting and did not manage to join the Helsing, but continued nonetheless, striving towards their goal of becoming great and powerful sweepers. Sadly, their number was diminished by one. The death of their comrade Raylan saw the 4 original members cut down to 3 as they began their journey across the landscape from the Black Cauldron to Castle Corvershaw, where another quest awaited them. The chance to be mercenaries and protect the Highness himself in the Blood Moon Ball, acting as security. Along the way, they picked up a rather interesting-looking half-elf individual, a beautiful woman by the name of Sorora, who in her own way had her journey in front of her interrupted with a wagon that had crashed to the wayside. Together, they began their journey, doing quests, slaying giant weasels, orcs, and other kinds of monsters, before arriving at this huge castle, which was ruled, of course, by none other than the dreaded Count Tyriak, a vampire noble who is acknowledged as one of the rulers of the local region, host to the Blood Moon Ball. Now, our heroes have been tasked with testing out the security, and they did a really good job. I'll admit, if you've ever get the chance to go and check that out, because I was very impressed, I've got to say this. And of course, they managed to keep their heads attached after breaking into some of the vampires' more secret quarters, but made sure that the place was pretty secure by the end. This, however, was only a prelude. The captain of the guard, Captain Dreyfus, had asked our group to go and investigate one very suspicious individual, a man named Count Karomak. The group gathered up their belongings, headed to the Count, and only found his assistant, one Dr. Darius, waiting. They could not find any evidence that the Count had any, well, ill intention for the Blood Moon Ball, only that he had been providing samples of some variety to the castle's resident groundkeeper. But this was not the end of the dramas that befell them. A companion of theirs, Belinda Ratsby, perished at the hands of an unknown killer. Sorora, kidnapped and missing. And the group, having to find the culprit, turned quite south as the trail led them into the woods. Geralt was viciously attacked by a large canine who sank his teeth into his spine, breaking it and stripping him of the ability to walk. This is where our story picks up, with Khalil on his way, well, having gotten his way, to speaking with Valentine and warning of the threats of a murderer. Sorora, still missing. Geralt, bleeding in the forest. And Darby, wondering where the hell he went wrong. Let's find out what happened to these guys as we continue Tales from the Undertaker.
So you're fine?
Oh yeah, I hardly
Yeah,
got
he like
hurt at
hid
all.
like the whole time.
I didn't hid. I was fighting him. I just fight from a range. You guys are the stupid ones that get in melee.
Wait, is Benny still there?
No,
Benny
Benny
for the
took
time. Benny for the time has taken off. He's avenged the death of Belinda and has decided to continue his journey to see. Belinda was killed by like the puncture wounds in the neck, and
Yeah.
you've obviously killed the wolf, and
He thinks it's
the wolf
over.
had the vampiric canines as well. So, he's kind of like, well, this is done, and he needs to go bury his, do the whole funeral rites and things like that.
Yeah. Glad
Um,
they gave him stuff to help him sleep.
yeah, but not, of course, before dragging Geralt with Darby out of the forest. You can basically see, like, Geralt is in a terrible condition. His legs have gone limp, and the two of them are sort of pulling them out. You arrive at the shanty town, the outskirts of the shanty town, where some of the guards see you and rush to your aid. This is where Benny sort of slips away, and lots of the guards that are rushing over to you going, "Oh my god! Help! Help! We have an injured man! Somebody fetch the medic! Quick! Quick!
Yes, we need
Sir,
help.
sir, calm down! Calm down! You're panicking!"
I'm calm.
What happened? By the gods, tell us.
There was a demon dog that we exploded into pink mist, but it
demon
severed
dog?
It
Pink
severed
mist?
his spine.
Yes, I'm pretty gravely injured. If any help would definitely be appreciated.
Oh, is anyone a healer? Does anyone have the capacity to heal this man? At this point, a very familiar hand rises up. Sorora.
Raylan? Oh.
Aww,
Oh,
savage.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Hello. Remember me?
Sort
what
of.
happened to you?
I'm pretty gravely injured. A giant demon dog made me think that it was this halfling woman.
Why would
I
you
can't-
think that?
I was kind of coerced into it with a spell. And that was
That's right,
pretty
you
awful.
did attack us.
Yeah, well, I thought you were something at the time. Some monsters, so that
This
was
sounds
unfortunate.
like
Some
you
sand
were-
people.
You were drunk and you were.
I wasn't drunk. I was not drinking at the time. I would admit if I was drunk at the time. I may have been a little bit drunk.
All Well, I can cure some light wounds.
That's not particularly helpful.
Cleo's not there, right? Is he?
Cleo's not there yet. Sorora sort of lays her hands on you, and she can make me a heal check to try and see if there's anything she can do to help in this particular scenario.
Don't forget your bonuses.
You want to look at your skills and look for heal.
1.
Well, I don't think you're going to be doing much for me.
4 and
Oh my god.
heal is 3.
Is that a class skill?
Yes.
So you have 3 ranks in it. You get +3 for being a class skill, and you get +1 from your wisdom.
So 7. So then
So-
+4.
+4.
11. How does that
11. All right. With an 11, you find yourself, well, sort of out of your league. The spine has basically been snapped quite violently. You've staunched the bleeding, so that he's not sort of like going to get infected or anything like that. But you have no means of actually repairing the damage he has taken. You would need a very skilled surgeon in order to try and reattach the spine, or some form of magic.
Sorry.
We know a surgeon.
It looks like you'll never walk again.
What?
Here, have some alcohol.
That sounds fantastic, actually, at this point. I could definitely
Okay.
use a drink.
All right. While he drinks and imbibes the alcohol, meanwhile, returning from Castle Corvishaw is, of course, Khalil, who has made it to the town. Khalil's still making his way to the shanty town, but he's only arrived at the sort of small village and things like that. When you are stopped by a sort of you sort of see a page boy sort of running, super frantic, and he sort of sees you, and he's sort of like, sir, are you Mr. Howland? Mr. Howland, sir.
Yes. Hello. Hi. How are you?
Message for you, sir. It comes from the guardsman at the shanty town. Under the message reads, halfling injured. Stop. Oh God. Stop. The bleeding won't stop.
Cleo runs.
Oh, sir, there's something else. They said get a heal. No, okay. And Khalil runs off. As you do so, you arrive at the shanty town, and you can see that there's a small circle around, what you could imagine to be a very injured Geralt lying on his stomach, because obviously lying on his back's not much of an option. Darby sort of crossing his arms, sort of shaking his head, and Sorora, sort of applying gauze to the various open wounds and sort of like mixing up some antibiotic herbs and sort of, rubbing them on the wounds.
Khalil, we need you to come.
Geralt, what's going on?
His spine got severed. We need you to use your surgery skills to heal him.
I'm not a surgeon.
Oh, well, what do you do?
What are you good for, man?
Leader, please help us.
I just arrived here, and I don't know what's happening. He's just injured.
We fought a demon dog.
Who he thought
That
was
could
a
talk.
woman.
It's a whole long
Can
story.
I roll for that?
Oh, and there's like.
You can roll a heal check if you want.
No, for what they're talking about. Their monster
Oh.
video.
Roll a knowledge religion.
I only have
As they describe to you what appears to be an immense black dog with matted fur, covered in blood, its huge fangs with 2 very long protruding canines, its eyes that glimmered with an unearthly intelligence.
It could talk and cast spells.
It could definitely talk and bite things.
It was like a wolf that could.
It exploded into a pink mist after I hit it with my bomb.
No, it doesn't matter right now. Geralt, can you walk?
No.
At this point, Khalil is approached by a man. The man says on his shirt says hi. It says hi. My name is Mike. And this guy walks up to you and says, "Can you please talk to me?" There you go.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah, because when you talk to him, you're not talking to Mike. If you don't talk to Mike,
Geralt, though.
yeah. I couldn't hear anything you said.
Hi, Mike.
You gotta talk to the mic.
Okay, continuing on. I can't roll because I don't have knowledge religion.
Eat the mic.
Okay, yeah. If you don't have knowledge religion, then you. I mean, it's a giant wolf. Maybe knowledge arcana as
I
well.
have that.
I can give you that one.
We have knowledge
I got that.
arcana. I have a shit ton of arcana.
I
Oh.
have
26.
26. Okay, you know that the
27.
creature at least.
Okay. I know
The both of you know that the creature is a creature known as a warg. W-O-R-G. The wargs are basically giant wolves that are hyper intelligent. This seems to be a more advanced version of that, most likely because of some form of corruption that has turned it into a member of the undead. You're not quite sure what member of the undead per se, but you're fairly sure that the base creature before that was in fact a warg.
Okay.
She says she has religion. Can she?
You may roll religion if you
Can
want.
she try to identify what type of undead?
okay. Yeah.
That's me in the spot.
3.
Light, losing my religion.
Are you trained in it?
It's a class skill, but you don't have any ranks in it, so you can't do it.
Never mind.
You actually, you can actually roll on this one. So roll, add your intelligence.
Okay.
Natural 20.
20.
Natural 20.
All right.
All right, with a natural 20, you've actually heard of this particular creature. It is known as Rolf. R-O-L-F. He is literally a folktale come to life. He is actually a vampiric warg. And he is pretty much the center tail of many folklores. He is the quintessential big bad wolf, as it were, from all the different stories and legends. If a child goes missing and there's a lesson to be had, like, don't wander around at night, the big bad wolf will get you. All of these stories originate from this particular wolf. Oh, warg.
So you tell us that.
How do you guys not know this?
We
It
didn't.
turned into mist.
But we killed it.
I don't know about all these
You
weird
killed a folk
fandangled
tale?
creatures.
Yes, we killed a vampire giant wolf.
Oh,
So it's
and you would
dead.
also, and with that natural 20, you would also know that vampires can only be killed in very specific ways. Chiefly by sunlight. Secondly, by putting a stake through its heart, severing its head, and then burying the head in consecrated ground. And third, by burying it in its coffin under a body of moving water.
And fourth, with a bomb.
No.
So he is not
Love.
dead. He maybe just disappeared.
Shit.
Well, that's even better news than my severed spine.
So what you're telling me is this thing that attacked Geralt's still alive?
Yes.
How fast can it come back?
It usually takes about a week or so, like between sightings of a like if a vampire is slain incorrectly, it turns into a gas form, returns to its coffin, wherever that is, regenerates over time, and can be back within a week.
Shit.
We have a week, at least.
But that also depends on where the coffin is. Given that it's a warg and not, say, a vampire in a castle, its coffin could be on the other side of the country, for all you know.
I wonder how it's connected to the rest of the shit that's going on.
I don't know. Tonight's the Blood Moon Ball, though. At least that's dead. We don't have to worry about that. What do we do, Geralt?
Well, I would particularly like to find a healer.
Excuse
If we
me.
could.
Surgeon.
Hello, people.
A
We need a
surgeon,
surgeon.
At,
We need a
at this
surgeon.
point, strolling out of the crowd, you see a very familiar white lab coat.
Oh,
Hey,
Did
buddy.
somebody call a surgeon?
No. We're fine.
Ah!
Kamek.
My friends, it's good to see you again. What has happened?
hello.
You look gravely injured.
We need your help.
Yes, I
We could
suppose.
definitely use your help. I seem to have suffered a minor injury that has left me debilitated and unable to walk.
Oh yes, no, the spine is completely broken here. What could possibly have done this? This is terrible. I mean, it looks almost like an animal attack.
It
a
was
war.
Rolf,
Rolf, I cannot say I know this person.
a vampire
A
dog.
Wog.
Warg.
Ah,
Warg.
well, that sounds horrible. Whatever you've been through, it is clearly too much. Please allow me to help you and offer you my assistance.
I thought. Oh, hold on, real quick. I thought he hated us because we like broke into his lab and stuff.
He didn't know that we broke in.
No, I
Well,
thought he even attacked
in
us.
the hindsight of things, you actually saved me quite a lot of effort. See, after your initial break-in, I decided to move some of my more sensitive equipment out with the help of my, my child. But surely enough, a few hours later, my entire tent went up in flames.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Your
Yes, no,
Funny
it
how
was.
that happens.
Your assistant also. Do you know what happened?
Ah, yes, poor lad. He could not escape the flames and just was perished in, I imagine, by not being able to escape. But thankfully, because of you, I ended up saving a lot of my research. The removal of the tent was rather fortuitous.
You know nothing about how this happened? Who attacked your servants or whatever happened?
I am Count Karamak. I am prone to assassination attempts. It's not the first time it has happened, and it certainly won't be the last.
Can I sense motive on him?
You can.
Droltz is definitely not going to sense motive. He's
Me
just like,
either.
yeah, please, just fix my spine.
18.
I'm terrible at reading people.
18. With an 18, he seems unusually chipper. But you're not entirely sure what that is.
Yeah, regardless, I need the help. Will you help us?
Of course. Let's just say that somebody has put in a good word, and you do not need to worry about things like payment. I will repair your.
Sounds fantastic.
I will repair your
not
spine.
suspicious at all.
No, definitely not suspicious if it's going to repair my spine.
Yes, I will repair your spine, but I do have a personal request, if possible. You see,
Yes.
my son now no longer has a place to stay, and he is currently residing in the forest. I simply cannot let that be. If you could perhaps help procure a rather secreted way for him to get into the castle, maybe somewhere where his girth and bulk may go unnoticed,
Can he
I would
sing?
be greatly
Are we talking about
appreciative.
the Lepistat beast?
Yes.
You want us to bring the beast into the castle?
Yes.
Can he
In a
sing?
nutshell.
Because we know how to get
Is this-
in.
He
is this-
hates you, Khalil.
Well,
Oh yeah, he does.
I don't think he can make facial expressions, let alone sing.
He has definitely attempted to make some
Would the-
facial expressions.
before anything else, would the prince be okay with this? Or are you trying to make us do this secretly?
Secretly,
said
preferably.
secretly.
Not many people know that the beast is still wandering around, and there are many people who are very superstitious and very stupid.
Maybe
Yes,
we
why
can-
would they be scared of a giant monster?
That is.
He is not a
decimated
monster.
many
He is
regions
he
throughout
is
the
a sweet
world.
little boy.
He is a sweet little boy. Maybe we can put him in a chef costume.
Is there? You could
Me
disguise him
cook.
actually, probably.
Yeah, ooh, I do
You have
that
really high disguise, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you like
All right.
Is this the only way
use
to get
magic
Geralt's
to
back
disguise
fixed?
people?
No, this is not in any way related to me being able to fix his back. I will do it regardless of your decision. but I need help. And well, I'll be honest. With my assistant dead and my son not really being able to assist me in any way, you are my only option.
Why the castle? Why not a
He is
building?
rather large, and there's not much room in this small town or in this shed, and I don't have the materials to build another tent of that magnitude. And the other nobles, they wouldn't understand, you know. Well, how about this? You can sink on it while I repair his spine, and if I accidentally kill him, well, I mean, you know, stuff happens. I wouldn't hold it against you.
You wouldn't hold it against us if you accidentally
No,
kill
no,
him?
no.
I would much prefer that you didn't kill me.
All
and
right,
I
it's
happen
time for
to know
sleep
that
now.
You're a
He sort of
brilliant
puts a
surgeon.
cloth over your mouth, and you slowly drift to
I
sleep.
Can I go find the beast?
Oh yes, he is over by the bubbling brook over there. Sort of points you in a direction.
What do you guys want to do? Do you want to help him?
I want to watch over Gerald's surgery.
The beast, like, attacks anyone that's not a girl, right?
Oh,
That is a problem.
Well, no, he was when he was protecting the ship.
Okay.
Now he's kind of what's the word? Now he's more
I'm afraid.
yeah. Now I mean now it's more like he's just being polite to women over men.
Well, you could stay with Geralt and make sure that he gets healed, and we'll go find the beast.
okay. Please don't get attacked by a wolf.
It's not really up to me.
We have a week for it to come back. And
Okay.
the blood moon ball is tonight.
Yeah, it really shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, nothing would ever attack on the Blood Moon Ball.
Oh, definitely not.
Especially not a wolf.
Or let's
Vampire
say I
wolf.
don't know, an evil vampire or the undead. Nothing like that.
Yeah, we just killed a vampire dog. It might have been just like a pet to a stronger vampire.
Probably. That's a very reasonable assumption.
All of these are very reasonable assumptions, and he sort of commends you on these reasonable assumptions as he drags Geralt away. Khalil follows, while I believe Soror. Darby, where are you going?
I'm going with Sorora.
All right, well, Darby and Sorora make their way over to the bubbling brook.
Make sure that he doesn't steal any of his organs.
I'm gonna watch him. Hopefully, I can talk to him too. But I'm gonna watch him.
Okay, so let's start, of
Yes,
course,
let's
with the surgery. So you get dragged over to basically a clean table that he seems to have set up. You can see that again, a lot of that equipment that you saw in his tent is now just off to the side, out in the open air. And he says, "Well, if it's not exactly ideal for us to be performing surgery out in the open like this, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. What say if we get started? Yeah."
Yeah.
He gives you some gloves and a mask.
Wait.
All right, nurse,
I
scalpel. You look on the board. You can see like all these tools. They kind of look weird and wacky. You can make a heal check to try and identify which one's the scalpel.
If I'm not trained in heal, I can still do it.
Yep,
Okay.
Your heel's not
19.
trained.
19. Yep, you pick up the right kind of scalpel and you hand it to him. He goes, "All right, vet. Let's get to work then."
Count Karamak.
I'm really glad I'm unconscious for this.
Ask me, why the beast?
Yeah. What?
What is your fascination with the beast?
It's a son.
Oh, the beast. Well, I created the beast. It was me who created him from the bodies and the various parts and pieces of lots of other dead people. I animated him as a flesh golem, in fact. Tried to change the spells and the incantations and what ended up happening was I ended up implanting a almost an amalgamated consciousness into it. So it started learning. It started being a bit more independent. Yeah?
Getting smarter?
Of course, he learns like everyone. He feels like everyone. He has a strong sense of self.
You truly think
And
of this
survival.
as- It's like your own child, isn't it?
Yeah, he is very much a child of my making, and I'm very fond of him. Apart from myself, he is the only other person in the world who has been equally as interested in trying to help me with my research.
Which is
Sorry, one moment. I'm trying to get through the bone. My research is about trying to find a way to create an immortal body, primarily to be able to transfer human consciousness into the form of an immortal golem.
the beast was the first attempt at that, I'm guessing, or successful.
Yes, indeed. It was the first of my successful attempts. Most of the others just went insane and tried to kill me, but thankfully the beast has helped cut down on those. So,
Did any of those things live, or did you?
oh no, they've all been put down. I used to have one. It was this giant creature who I made out of like spiders and things. But I feel like that's where I went wrong on that one. It's just a big giant spider creature. It's made of spiders. No one cared what happened to spiders, okay? Don't laugh. I mean, it was very hard for us to find human body parts, so we took spider body parts and we put them together, and well, that's where we ended up.
Interesting.
All right. So as you continue to talk about his research and stuff like that, we now move over to the forested area where Zorora and Darby have begun to make their way. Did he fall?
Yes.
Yes. Like always.
Yes. Zorora and Darby make their way into the forested area, and eventually you come to a small bridge. And standing by that bridge with like a big pile of rocks is this large hulking form, this huge stitched individual with like kind of this grimace on his face. Every now and then he sort of seems to lean over and pick up one of the big rocks and sort of throw it into the lake. It almost looks like he's trying to skip stones, but he's using like boulders to do it, so they're just falling into the water. And
What a sweet thing. What was his name?
The Beast,
Beast
of
of
Lepidstadt.
Lepidstadt.
No, he had a name that someone gave him a name.
No, his arm had a name.
Yeah, his
Oh,
arm had.
yeah.
I can't remember what
It's
it was.
his real
though.
name. That's what I consider it. What did I
wasn't
call
it Tony? Didn't you call the
Yeah,
arm Tony?
Yeah, it was Tony.
I guess I go and say, "Hi, Tony. What you got there?"
The beast sort of turns to you lazily and says, "Pretty lady. Hello.
Hello, old
Me.
friend.
Me have rock."
Good. And then I guess I like pick up a pebble and like throw it in the pond too, so he doesn't attack me.
He sort of looks at you do it. He looks back at you. And he looks at Darby. He just sort of stares at Darby.
I'll also skip a rock.
Yours is actually the only one that is skipped. Like
I'll
it's
use
skipped
my
like
tail.
twice. And he turns to you and goes, "Oh, that's amazing! You show!" And he sort of tries to hand you the boulder. It sort of lands on the ground with a huge thud.
Can I give him a smaller rock?
You can. You find a nice smooth rock on the ground. You
Tell
sort
him
of.
to try doing it with this one.
Ooh.
Yes.
He sort of goes, "Huh!" Blunk.
Like a million.
Rock no work.
Your wrist.
Yes, it's all in the flicking.
Oh no.
Ooh. He sort of reaches down. He picks up another rock, like a reasonably small one, and he goes, "Ooh, ooh. just gone into the sky.
Didn't even touch the water.
Tries one more time.
Aim
And
at
this
the
time-
water.
This time he throws it, and as he does, it skips across the water 8 times.
Good job, Tony.
You're a professional.
His face doesn't work right. Oh, by the way, I apologize if no one knows who or what the hell this thing is. His face don't work right, so he doesn't actually smile or frown or anything. He just, yeah. So yeah, he seems very happy. He goes, "Why, pretty lady and tiny man, in forest all alone, dangerous in forest, scary monsters in forest.
We got
Dad left. Dad said stay here, but me no want stay here. Scary monsters in dark."
We got sent by your dad to come check on you.
Daddy send you?
Mm-hmm.
I okay.
You
He's
know-
scared though.
Okay. We're gonna get you out of this forest.
Do you eat?
Do you eat?
Can eat. Can eat.
Do you need to eat?
Do you need to eat?
Likes eating. Often finds small things. Things that run. Often very fast.
No.
Me
Have-
me then catch and me eat.
What do you want to do with this guy?
We just came to find him. We don't have a plan.
Hello!
But the plan was to get him in the castle.
Okay, how do you propose to do that?
I have a plan,
Put a
but
disguise on him.
You have a plan? Send me a pigeon
not
that has the plan.
Can't you?
A pigeon
what is
a
your
pigeon
disguise?
lands
Your
in front of
disguise
you.
look crazy high.
a
Yes.
pigeon lands in front of you.
Yeah, a pigeon lands in front of Sorora.
Oh, I look at the pigeon. Does he have a note?
No, of course not. He's a fucking pigeon. He looks at you. He
Oh,
just
God.
flies off.
Okay.
It's
My
just-
disguise is 8.
That's pretty good.
So we could somehow disguise Tony and bring him into town.
He's really large, isn't he?
He's large.
Can I do a knowledge roll to see if there's another large creature that's good that the people will accept?
I do have a reduce person potion.
Reduce
Ooh,
person.
reduce person. That would be a great idea.
Well, yeah, it's not like someone has that spell.
Meanwhile, somewhere else, it's like they're at this, in the middle of a surgery, and he's like, "I feel like I could have finally done something useful, and I'm nowhere to be seen." And meanwhile, he gets smacked in the back of the head. Focus! Pay attention!
Sorry.
How are you? I'm trying to teach you how to do this so that you can do it on your own if your spine never severs again.
Next time.
Okay, he's teaching me. If I pay attention, can I learn something from this as a character?
Sure, I'll give you 1 free rank and heal.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, whoa. I said if you pay attention.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so, the beast. So you're gonna force him a,
Yeah, Sho can make a disguise, and I'll make my reduce potion
We're gonna
person.
take him though.
Alright, first of all, make a disguise check.
Okay.
And it's gonna take me a little while to make the potion.
10 minutes on both.
12 plus 8.
20. Alright. All of a sudden, you sort of hand him a potion. He goes, "Ugh, you smell bad."
But it will make your dad happy.
Reduce
If you
person
drink
lasts
it.
a minute.
I made it so it lasts a minute per level.
Ugh. Oh, if make dad happy.
Don't drink
But
it
don't.
yet. Don't drink it yet.
Oh.
He drinks half of it, so he shrinks for like 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Dang it.
Ah! No! Me tiny! Why?
It'll only last for a little while.
Normal size now.
Oh, this is not normal. Me normal is smaller than normal. Oh.
No, it's okay. It's
Hey, do you like fireworks?
Beast scared.
you like
Already monsters in forest, now beasts smaller.
I have a rabbit foot. You can pet it.
What's real, buddy? Just foot. It's okay, rabbit foot. You am like me, made of little things.
You can come with us. We'll go find a way into the castle.
Okay.
You can meet your dad there.
Okay.
Okay. He sort of tries to sort of take a big step, but he's like basically walking like the Ministry of Silly Walks. He's like, yeah, he's trying to make the same distance, but he's got clearly shorter legs. Okay, as you begin to make your way, I assume to the back entrance of the
Yes.
castle. The two of you in the surgery have finally completed your surgery. Can you make me a heal check, Khalil, to see how much of this you retain?
4.
Sadly, you were unable to pay much attention to what was going on. As soon as he said, pass me something, you were sort of like... You sort of handed him the tray, and he sort of was like... takes what he needs, looks at you angrily.
Could I use this time to cast visualization of the mind?
Sure.
Okay,
What is that?
it's a spell. Oh, and then I'm gonna cast it for.
Thanks.
For the audience that may not necessarily know how that spell works, perhaps you would like to fill them in.
All right, I enhance a single aspect of my mind, nurturing and empower it. I can choose a single mental stat, charisma, intelligence, or wisdom, and gain a +5 bonus on ability check and skill checks associated with that ability score. Also, if I discharge it before the 24 hours is up, I get one of the benefits, and I am choosing wisdom. So when if I disenchant it before before the 24 hours up, I get, whenever I fail a will save, I can immediately attempt a saving throw again and gain a +4 bonus on the new saving throw.
Cool.
Very nice. All right. So the surgery is now done, and he basically pulls out what appears to be a potion bottle, and he pours it over the spine. You basically watch as the flesh sort of knits together, and he then sort of takes a swig of the rest of the potion, and he's sort of like, all right, let's see if this works, yeah? Sort of turns him over. Now, we have to be very careful. This is a very delicate procedure, and he may go into shock if he awakens in the incorrect manner. Smack! Back up!
Ah!
Uh,
What the hell's going on here?
Are you okay?
You have healed 10 points of dexterity damage.
Oh, so close.
Now you just need that in your con.
How much con damage did you take?
I took 4.
Then you also heal 3 points of your con.
All right.
Damn.
As he said, I noticed that he was missing some blood. Thankfully, I have plenty lying around.
Are you?
Also, this kidney.
Is that my kidney, or did you?
No. Thankfully, there was this dead halfling woman who was an orchid donor, so I managed to,
Oh, Jesus.
get some spare resources there. You're very lucky. Normally, halfling pieces are very hard to find, but a fresh one, especially this far away from a city, wunderbar.
Geralt immediately begins looking for a drink.
You find like a big bottle of sterilization alcohol.
Oh, jeez.
He chugs it like immediately.
Make a fort save.
Oh God.
11.
Oh God.
It burns, but you drink it, and you manage to hold it down as much as you can. All right.
What is it, like 80%? Like
Freckles are like 90.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Ah! Oh, why?
You thought, you thought Everclear was.
Are you all right, Geralt?
Fire comes out as he speaks.
Yeah.
Count Karamak. I
Yeah.
owe you. Thank you.
I mean, yeah.
We'll bring.
Oh,
Your
he's-
son.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It is very
Where?
it's very nice of you.
Oh, okay.
My
It's a
son,
risk. I want you to know that if we get caught, I don't know what could happen. I don't think this is something we're supposed to be doing or should be doing, but I definitely owe you.
You do.
Well, I most certainly appreciate it. Anything you can do to help my son, is just it's heartwarming.
As you know, tonight is the Blood Moon Ball, though.
But that is okay. My son is very well behaved. If you can get him in, then I will ensure that I tell him to stay where he is placed.
You.
In fact, here, take this letter and go and give it to him. Sort of writes down a letter.
Where are you going?
Of course he can read. He's not illiterate.
You, Geralt.
Events.
I feel like he can't even talk or correctly.
Where will you be?
What was
doing
that, sorry?
this event, Count Karamak?
Well, I'm preparing for the ball myself. I, of course, being one of the guests on the list. It is important for me to remain, seen, lest I be accused of some sort of other nefarious thing and denied the access to the ball.
Something might happen tonight.
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, otherwise I came all the way here for nothing.
Ha. If something bad happens around your son, I don't know what to do. I wouldn't want him to be
Oh,
hurt.
my son is very resilient at the very least. Yeah, he is fine, but he's still in the head a small boy. It becomes very difficult for him. He is less likely to go on, say, a rampage if he's not running away from his own shadow.
Okay. Draw.
Can you walk?
Yes.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
Make a acrobatics check as you stand up.
Make it-
Let's see here.
Don't you get like bonuses?
21.
All right, you stand up and you sort of like start to stagger, and you're like, "I'm good."
Good, that was just the alcohol. My spine is perfectly fine.
All right, and you
This is
begin
where
to
this
make
goes.
your way. Well, you start to make your way towards the brook when you can actually almost see birds sort of leaving, almost in like a so they're sort of moving towards an area of the forest, making almost like a path. You're fairly sure that they're being startled by something or someone.
I'll make my way over there.
Okay, you do so. As, say, about another 15, 20 minutes go past, you guys unite with each other and sort of fill each other in on what halves of your plans you have been embarking on, eventually arriving at the back entrance with two guards that seem to be waiting and checking on the serving staff as they come through.
Real quick question for you.
Mhm.
One, I don't think I know the answer to already. I think you can't stack reduced person, can you? If it's from two different spellcasters.
That is correct, you cannot.
Okay. And then second, we know that Count Karamak and the other counts are allied, right? That they're friends.
Count Karamak is a member of the Principality of Ustalav. All of them run and control a region of Ustalav.
Yeah. The
Well, we found the papers that was saying that he was like getting bodies from that other dude.
yeah.
Oh, Ramoska Akhmenos.
Yes.
Yes. You found, yes, you did find evidence that the Count had a pre-existing relationship with Ramoska Akhmenos, the right-hand vampire Nosferatu, to Count Tyriak, who is the host of the ball.
Okay. Count T-Rex, the host of the ball. I believe we should take him to Nosferatu's room. The Giants.
Are they friends? They actually are friends?
They have a business dealing. I don't know any safer room for him.
We could take him to our room.
Do we have a room in the castle? Like a room?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But
Oh.
we have to. I mean, the Nosferatu guy's like, he has like all those spells and stuff, so people
has the
probably won't be going into
gargoyle.
his place.
Didn't he have a gargoyle or something that?
They could be friends.
He did have a gargoyle.
We don't know that they're.
They have a business
That-
dealing. I doubt that he would want to cross each other.
tight with each other.
Well, we can find him and ask.
Yeah, we should probably.
Maybe in the meantime we put him in our room,
Yes.
and then we'll find him.
What do you think you can do for his appearance?
We've
Oh,
already
didn't you already
disguised him.
disguise him?
No, I haven't disguised him yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, you did. He's just disguised as a normal person
Okay.
at his smaller size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's right here. See?
Tony, how are you?
I good. How are you? You
Excellent.
I'm good.
Remember, this is my mother. Remember, Tony?
you uglier than last time.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I like this beast. I like him a lot.
Tony, we're about to go into the castle. Do you want to drink the other half of that potion I gave you?
It happened again. Small juice, bad juice.
I'm gonna hand him the letter.
Tony, there's nothing wrong with being small. It's perfectly acceptable.
This from Dad.
Yes, it's from your father.
Listen to people. Make sure. Stay still. Well, we will listen to people.
Okay.
Okay.
So come with us, and we're gonna take you to our room, and you'll stay there. Okay?
And then you will stay very still in our room, okay?
Until
Okay.
we come back.
Okay.
No monsters in there, so you'll be safe.
No. Why you say that? Now me think there are monsters in there.
No monsters in there. Just so you know,
But why would say that if we're no monsters?
because there's no.
Me wouldn't walk around saying no monsters everywhere. That's silly. In fact, you point out no monsters, probably monsters, and you not telling me.
There's more monsters outside the room than there are in the room.
So there's monsters everywhere. No. Oh.
Okay.
The monsters that are in the room are good monsters and they won't hurt you.
The Am's good monsters?
Yes.
Okay, pretty lady.
What are we doing? How are we getting Tony inside?
Walking.
Through the cooks, through the kitchen?
Yeah, we're like known guards here.
Yeah, technically we're just guards.
Oh yeah, we don't have to.
So-
We have a
We don't
room.
really have to be that sneaky. We just go in and be like, we're going to our room.
But who's this guy with us?
This is my...
He's a new member of the Helen Agency.
Tony, don't talk.
Tony,
He's a previous member
Yes.
of the Helen Agency.
how are you?
Oh, I am good.
How do you want to
How
play
are you?
pretend with us?
What is a
How-
character you've always wanted to be?
Arthur Van Helsing.
Perfect.
Excellent. So we'll just tell everyone that he's Arthur Van Helsing.
Oh no.
No.
Hello. Me, I'm Arthur Van Helsing.
He just had a
He's Arthur
very he had a
Van
very
Helsing.
serious head injury.
Number one fan.
Okay, let's go. All right, Tony, follow. We're gonna go.
Okay. Tony, follow. He's making the sound effect with his mouth.
Tony, quiet, quiet, quiet,
Huh?
quiet, quiet.
Tony, you can't be making those noises,
Make sounds
buddy.
in your head, not out
Oh.
loud.
Oh, Arthur have big feet. Yeah. Tony have big feet. All right. He becomes quiet as you approach the gate. The two guards, they sort of sit there and they're sort of like standing at attention, sort of see you approach. Halt.
Hello.
I salute them.
They sort of
Hello. Hi.
hello.
Can we get through, please, to our room?
And you are
Khalil Howland of the Howland Agency, and this is the rest of my party.
Yes, we're
Real
working
Howland.
with
We're working on the interior security today.
Yep. Why are there 5 of you?
There must have been some sort of mistake. Right?
Yeah, he's been with us this whole time.
He was a party member who met up with us recently. The Howland Agency is larger than the 4 party. We recently had one pass away, and now we've replaced her a while back, and we were waiting for this one, the replacement, to come in.
Alright, roll a bluff check.
waiting for a replacement.
Who's rolling?
Am I rolling?
Khalil.
Yeah.
I should have put that on charisma, not on wisdom.
Whoever is lying. That's who's lying.
You're lying too.
I am lying.
Oh yeah, you
A
can
lot
you can
better
roll
at
as
it.
well.
Would it be like a help?
Natural 20.
Oh
19.
yes.
19.
Oh,
What
yeah.
would you
my
get? What
million.
what
Plus all
would you
your
have gotten?
modifiers,
Like with a
plus
natural
11.
20, what's your total?
20.
What's your total with 19?
So for my bluff,
Yeah.
bluff is 12.
So you got like a 31.
31.
Okay. All right. The two of you, you sort of say it, and they sort of look at their sheet, and they're like, "All right. What's his name?"
His name is Tony.
Tony. I mean, yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay, Tony. All right. He's been added to your list.
Awesome. And
Go on.
if you could update the rest of the people that there's a... No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll tell people when we get inside. Just to make sure that there's no
I mean, he
paperwork
just
issues.
added it to the list. Whatever.
You sort of take a look at this guy, who's still rather tall for his size, even if he's shrunk down. But they sort of nod and let him through. Tony sort of walks past. He looks at them, and he's sort of like, "Hi, Arthur." Sort of walks in. The guards sort of look at him like barbarians. Okay. Inside the internal compound, you can see that obviously there is a lot more clear space. The people aren't sort of setting up anymore. People aren't, sort of rushing around like headless chooks. There are, however, guard patrols that sort of go through regularly. In this area in particular, you can find it very easy to get to your quarters and place Tony there.
Okay.
All right, Tony. So remember,
Okay.
stay here and be quiet.
Is what's in our room? Is there like any space for him? Does he have to sit down? And when he gets big, is he gonna like crash into the ceiling?
No. There's plenty of space for him. You've got he'll probably break the bed or something if he tries to sleep in it. But that's more weight than anything else. It's not really designed for a large person, but it can easily house a large person.
All right, Tony, I need you to stay here, okay?
Tony, stay here.
Ever get scared, read the note from your dad. He's looking out for you. He's gonna be here as well.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
you're gonna be big again soon, so don't freak out when that happens.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Won't freak out.
Good. Smart man.
All right. Well,
And
let's go.
Are we gonna meet up?
All right. So, leaving behind the beast of Lepidstadt, you begin to make your way to check in with the Count, who tells you that the Blood Moon Ball is but an hour away, and asks if you have all what you need ready for your duties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe we are prepared.
Geralt has a spine again.
Yes, I
Fantastic.
am capable of walking, which is pretty awesome.
How are you today?
Dreyfus sort of looks at you and says, "Were you at some point incapable of walking?"
no. he
Pretty
was
much every
drunk.
night, yes.
Yeah. he
I
just
see.
recovered from
Baffling
drinking.
humor. Very good.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
hilarious.
Remember, your job is to keep the prince safe, as well as the guests of the ball. Do not embarrass yourselves or the prince in their company.
Captain Dreyfus, I should warn you that my party did come across a warg earlier. They beat it, but it's not killed. It shouldn't come back for a while, but there is something strange happening.
Yeah, also be on the lookout for, like, these people made of sand.
Yes, there are some sand people.
What?
Or
What?
a scarecrow.
Excuse me?
They were they. Oh yes, we guess we conveniently forgot to mention that.
Sand people.
They were
They didn't really
very
do
much
anything besides
responsible
watch
for,
us.
for some disappearances and murders around the city. I believe that your men were looking for them.
Yes, yes, indeed. I'll keep an eye on it. We've already added additional guards, but I'm also going to throw in. We have a werewolf hunter amongst the guardians of the shanty town. We'll see if we can reach out to him and get him to bolster the border security.
Awesome. And who's guarding the prince directly tonight?
Rogi.
That would be Evelyn and Christine Helsing.
Okay.
Although I've not met Christine yet.
All right, what do you want us to do?
You will patrol the outer perimeter and make regular stops to the ballroom in order to ensure that everything is going smoothly. Conduct yourselves with grace. Oh, and wear these. He sort of gestures over to one of the soldiers who has a bundle of 4 outfits. This is ballroom attire that will actually fit over your armor.
All right.
I do have a quick question for you. Have you recently seen Valentine Helsing?
Missing?
Well, I just don't. I'm not exactly sure. We found an odd doll that looked like him, and we're
No,
slightly
he was.
worried.
No, he was still patrolling the corridors last I checked.
Ah, good. All right.
If you wish to, he should be towards the eastern wing.
Oh, good.
Thank you. We'll go
You're
on
welcome.
patrols now.
Just
All right.
For clarity's sake, did you guys assign marks for specific people that are supposed to be here during the ball, so we know to look out for something?
They will have an invitation. Anyone who does not have one will not be allowed access to the castle.
Okay.
All of the serving crew and entertainers will have their varying uniforms. And again, there is also a detailed list of the entertainers and staff being upheld by the guards at the rear entrance.
Do you have a spare invitation? I'm assuming maybe not, but one
No.
that we could just compare in case. No.
No, Ogrim is treated the invitations with a chemical compound that he uses to identify legitimate ones from fake ones.
Okay.
Is there any way we could have access to that?
You would have to speak with Ogrim.
All right, then.
Okay.
All right. Well, here's to a good night, I hope. And he sort of off he goes.
All right, Geralt's gonna go get that serum for sure.
So, as we walk away and we're like, I'm gonna look around to make sure no one's around. So, do we trust Count Tarmac and not tell anybody we smuggled his son in?
I owe Count Karamak.
Yes, I mean he
Saved
did.
his life.
He did fix my spine. I mean,
And he didn't blackmail us. He said you could do this if you want to.
As
it's
far as
true.
I
He
see
never
it,
forced us into this.
worst comes to worst, I'd make him small and then we take care of him, but I don't see that happening.
You think that we can just take care of him once if we shrink him?
I think so.
This a beast that has decimated the land for a very long time, wiped out entire cities.
We beat the warg with missing me, so
That's
I don't
actually a
think
good
you
point.
were even there.
exactly.
So,
I trust my party. I think it'll be okay. I talked to Count Karamak for a while, and he seems interesting, but I don't know if he's necessarily dangerous.
what about all that stuff we found on him where he's helping that Nosferatu guy?
I don't know.
They're planning on
We
doing
need to talk to
something.
him.
Hmm.
Again.
They're planning on doing something at the Blood Moon Ball. We have the notes.
Well, we'll keep an eye out. Let's go talk to Agram and Valentine, and then
All right.
we'll make sure to pay extra special attention to that room.
All right, you have to pass the western corridor in order to get to the front gate. So you go towards where you're intercepted by the first of the patrol guards, led by Valentine himself. He sees you and he sort of nods at you. He sort of goes to walk past you. Doesn't really want to talk to you. Just sort
Valentine.
of like Valentine.
Valentine.
But yes.
Oh, it's a Valentine. He's my hero, you know.
We can tell by the way you can't remember his name.
Yeah, right.
Who
Okay.
are the sand people?
That's just what you blurt out. Who are the same people?
That's what I.
You are talking of course, the new appearance of this strange group of creatures. They're scarecrows, animated constructs. They've been sighted in the town, but all generally serve one manner of spellcaster or another.
Right.
We've things in place to avoid certain creatures being allowed into the area, certain wardings. Golems should not be able to breach the inner ballroom. So even if there were some scarecrows, we've already set up the wards.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're
That's
aware
what
of
we filled
you're
out.
aware of the spellcaster known as that calls himself the Doll Man.
Well, we hadn't really given him that colorful a name. We simply just treated him as the jerk who had been killing people. But sure, the doll man, I suppose, has a nice ring to it.
Well, we found well he calls himself the Doll Man. We found a bunch of stuff on him, including a doll that looks like you.
Yes, I do recall someone mentioning that he was leaving these tiny figurines around. If I am indeed a target, he is more than welcome to come and see me face to face.
Yeah, that's fair. Someone
Okay.
tells me that would not go so well for him.
Also, I don't know if I doubt you've heard already, but the rest of my party fought a warg named Rolf in the woods not too long ago.
Yes, we've had a few run-ins with Rolf in the past. Is he still out around?
No,
I'll
they
need to
managed
contact
to,
He
Rosenvale.
exploded into a pink mist.
Yes, we handled him quite
But
handily.
he's not dead.
He might come back in a week.
Oh, he most certainly will not. Rolf's cave is to the north, so he'll be traveling for a few days as a pink mist, as you describe, before he'll return. Well, chances are he won't even return for us. He'll probably return for one of you.
Oh,
Well,
good.
I guess if we know where his coffin is, we should probably take care of that after this whole blood moon thing.
Oh, he doesn't live in a coffin, per se. He is fueled by the belief of the people. The more people that believe in the fairy tale, the stronger he gets. And his coffin, as it were, is a cave. Even bringing down the whole cave system, it would simply be a matter of time before he dug his way out.
So is there any way to kill him?
How do you kill an idea?
That's an excellent question, Sir Darby. And that is exactly the answer to how Rolf is dealt with. For the most part, we have people who hunt werewolves and other creatures lying around, so Rolf doesn't usually come this close to town. But he does like to make an appearance and stir up the legend so as to keep his own existence from dwindling and vanishing.
I'm not sure, but I think he might be connected to this Doll Man.
Unlikely. He has no power to animate creatures in this fashion. And well, look, you'd have to talk to Rosenvale. He's the one who deals with him more than anyone. Each of the members of the Helsing have a special, I suppose, field, and Rosenvale's is dealing with the corporeal forms of undead. And while I've dealt with Rolf on my end, because my speciality is, of course, those of the vampiric nature, Rolf has really eluded most traditional or uniform forms of killing vampires. Holy water, incense have nearly no effect on him.
Interesting. Have you seen Algrim recently?
He is stationed at the front gate.
Okay.
Okay, sorry for taking up your time.
'Tis quite all right. We are technically working on the same thing.
We're partners.
Just keep your head on a swivel and try not to get distracted.
Sounds good. And Draw kind of grabs his arm to like shake it.
As you sort of stretch out his arm, he sort of power walks past you.
All right, fantastic.
All right. The guards sort of like move along and sort of are like following Valentine as he sort of moves through. You continue around the courtyard, sort of exchanging words about this conversation you had with Valentine. When you arrive at the gate, you see the towering form of the ogre, the half troll Ogrim, who sort of already seems to be like he's in like this big tuxedo that's like almost too small for him. He seems very chuffed that he's in this pimped out monkey suit, and he says, "Oh, members of the Howland Agency, it's good to see you again."
Greetings, all.
Yes,
Ogrim,
hello.
you're looking fantastic. Very snappy.
Tall.
Oh, well, thank
That
you.
too.
Much obliged. He sort of leans down and sort of puts his hand out to Sorora,
Hello.
sort of looking for your hand here.
I hiss at his hand.
Ah, he sort of, yes, well, well, what can I do for you?
Sorry, Ogrim. Can we get some of that?
Swing and a miss.
Yeah. We're trying to be as thorough as possible tonight to make sure that the prince is as protected as he can be. Can we possibly borrow some of the?
Oh, the catalyst. Oh,
Yes.
yes, I should have some spare bottles lying around. Just one moment. Sort of opens up his tuxedo jacket, and inside you can see rows of bottles and potions. It's almost like on the outside he looks like, like this nobleman, kind of flashy attire, and on the inside it's just all alchemy. Like, aha, yes, this is the solution that you'll require. One drop should be enough to identify it. The card is printed on a very special type of fabric, which will actually illuminate a bioluminescent ink as you spray it. It's quite fascinating, very, very interesting. Of my own devices, actually. Here.
What is? I didn't understand 90% of those words. Could you perhaps explain that a little more simply, sir?
It'll glow
Oh.
when we pour it onto one of the real.
Oh, it'll glow. Well, you should have just said that in the first place.
I
I was.
have
did.
a
I thought I did.
spell that could be come in handy for this. I have a spell that is light, and it makes any object shine like a torch. Would it like?
Oh well, the glow is a very unique type of glow. Obviously, with something like the light spell, you would imagine that the whole object would begin to glow. Whereas wherever you place the droplets from these stoppers would individually glow in that way.
Okay.
Right.
Obviously, if you
Identified
spread it
that
over the
you
whole
have
invitation, then the whole invitation will glow.
Thank you, Ogrim.
Okay.
Oh, it's quite all right. It was, it's not often that one gets to assist one's comrades in such a valiant endeavor.
Comrade.
It's good to see people being so proactive. I
Well,
knew
we
you
must
guys
be
had
in
spirit.
These dangerous times.
Yes, indeed. Well, if there's nothing else,
No.
I should really.
Yeah, be on your way. We're
Well, no, this is my station. I'm
Yeah.
here.
on our way.
I have one question.
Oh yes, of course.
Where do you get this cloth for the invitations?
Well, he sort of seems to go a bit red. Well, okay, look, I sew, okay? I make it.
That's actually rather impressive.
It is very impressive.
He sort of shows you what appears to be like this, it's like almost like a weave of very thin fibers that have been very meticulously stitched together. It's a crochet mat, and it seems to depict a moonlit night with a horse on a hill that seems to be sort of like raising its legs up, and it's sort of very, very intricately done. And you can see attached to it is like almost like a fishing wire thin thread and a needle. And you can see Ogrim's massive hands, right? Like, how big and bulky he is. And it's really delicate work.
It's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
Yes,
Amazing
yes,
work,
yes. Rosenveld makes fun of me to no end. And, well, you know what? Some of us need to practice being able to handle things like glass.
Do you think you could be making little dolls?
No, I don't.
Thank you, Algrim. We'll be on our way.
Well, I'm sure he
Ah.
could, but he's probably not.
I can make dolls if you would like.
No, it's all right.
Have you
Algrim.
seen anyone in the crafting community?
Well, there is Eunice. She's like this old lady who, like, you know, just constantly smacks talks my crochet. Okay, you should go and find her and burn that bitch at the stake.
Yes.
No problem, we're on
Damn
it.
you, Eunice.
New job.
Goddamn Eunice. No. He says. Well.
Well, that is be a good idea. Can we have him look at the doll?
Do you have the doll?
Yeah, we have the doll.
Oh
Yeah.
my Lanta.
All right. Well, he takes the doll and he says, "Huh, it's interesting. See, you can often tell based on the seam line whether or not what kind of technique they use for sewing. This doll was fabricated by the use of a spell. There are no seams. There is no entrance or exit. There is no cross hitch. There is no nothing. It simply came into being as a whole."
Interesting.
Do you know what that would be used for at all?
Well, I mean, it's still a children's toy. I mean, do you mind if I?
No, by all means.
Okay, cotton. No, see, normally with certain witches and hexes and stuff like that, they put teeth and bones and blood or other samples of genetic material in order to create hexes and voodoo. What would basically happen is if one were to pinch the doll, it would transmit the feeling to someone else. So this doll would technically have been ripped in half, and thus the person would have a similar sensation. But
Did you find a vial of blood with the doll?
We did.
Well, let's hope that's not the case, because that was the doll of Valentine.
Yep. Well, in which case, yes, you are probably dealing with someone who has some measure of understanding of witchcraft. But do not worry, it doesn't actually kill them. If you remove their head doesn't come off. It simply causes them discomfort and pain. And I feel that we would have been able to hear this amount of discomfort or pain. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
All right. Anything else, guys? So we can move Algrim to his post.
I think we're good.
All right. Well,
I'm going to, as we're making rounds, I'm going to drink one of my heightened awareness potions.
all right. The sun sets and the moon casts a eerie twilight. You watch as a procession of lanterns come from the shanty town through the village and up the long and lonely path towards the castle. The sound of music begins to waft.
Oh, it's such a face.
Casting an eerie ambience throughout the entire castle. As you can kind of sort of see people walking in, you see that everyone is dressed in these very elaborate and very, very beautiful gowns filled with ribbons and trussels. Some that are, sort of themed after cobwebs and spiders, and others grandiose. You could see this large, heavy-set woman coming with an entourage of very beautiful women, all dressed in these bright pastel colors. She wears way too much makeup and has this huge fan. She sort of keeps herself cool for some reason, even though this is a brisk evening. You watch as they are led through into the grand ballroom, a place that has tiled floors with black and white checkers, huge, heavy-set black curtains with red roses embossed and just designed onto all of the edges. In the center of the ballroom, you can see that there is a raised dais with a throne that sits high atop it. A man you recognize as the Prince of Ustalav, which we should have a picture of him, which we'll put up on the on the stream, stands there and he greets people as they enter. Captain Dreyfus and his 2 finest royal guards stand on the dais as well. They overlook the procession as they come in. People slowly beginning to mingle with one another after introducing themselves to the prince. You find yourselves on the outskirts of the ballroom. Make me perception checks as you watch these people come in.
I've got a 16.
16?
Yep.
20? 20?
Not natural. Not natural.
19.
Yep.
Yours natural or no?
19? Khalil and
Like,
Sorora, the
like
two of you,
Yeah.
the two of you are paying
Oh, you
extra
got a,
attention.
Oh, wait, hold on. So she actually
Oh,
got
she
a
critted?
natural 20.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It still shows the same thing.
Oh.
So
Rolled
the
it.
two of you watch as the procession is walking through, and the both of you can see very familiar faces. The two of you see a familiar face you're not really expecting, or that you weren't entirely sure that you saw. It's more like, someone walked past and you're like, no, that can't be that person. As you believe you've seen Dr. Darius walk through into the ballroom.
Dr. Darius.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
We saw him burn alive.
Well, then I'm
We stop
dropping
Then yeah, I
dead.
could go and stop him.
Uh,
Excuse me, sir.
All right, so you start moving through the crowd, and as you sort of push the guests one after the other, make another perception check for me.
14 for
20.
withdrawal.
She rolled another natural 20.
She got another natural 20.
I rolled a 14.
14. Sorora,
I got a 16.
you... Actually, I need everyone else to take off their headphones.
Oh, holy shit.
Secrets.
All right, Sorora, you can see... you basically catch Dr. Darius. You sort of place your hand on his shoulder, and he looks at you. He sort of gives you a knowing look. This is, of course, the same guy that you made a deal with earlier on.
Mhm.
So, what do you say anything to him, or do you try and conceal him?
Can I say?
Just say, okay. Let's go with this. Send us a message on Facebook. I will repeat it for the audience who is tuning in and watching, and they can find out what exactly you're up to.
And they noticed him.
Yeah, they did. Oh, well, sorry. No, only you've noticed Dr. Darius.
Can we put our headphones in? Don't put your headphone in yet.
No,
yet.
no.
Oh, okay.
I'm scratching my head.
Okay, I sent it.
Okay.
Oh, no, don't check your. Oh, I sent
No,
it
no,
to
don't
Tales
look.
of the
Just don't
Undertaker.
Did you?
Something we can
Oh.
see later on, or can we never see this ever?
Just don't mitigate.
It's not something bad.
Okay. All right. He says,
No.
Put our headphones in?
excellent.
No.
Let's keep it that way. If they've noticed me, I'm going to, I'll change my
Oh my
appearance.
god, this is
They've
really...
And,
noticed
uh,
you. They've noticed you.
Yeah, I'll change my appearance and continue onwards. Thank you.
This is really anxiety. Sorry.
All right. Okay, they can.
Okay. Put our headphones
Put
in.
your
I
headphones
can't.
on.
I can't handle that, man.
All
Sora,
right.
did you say anything?
How's your anxiety going?
Hi now.
Really high.
Do we notice,
Okay.
Do we notice anything?
Khalil, the three of you basically walk forward, and you place your hands on the shoulder of Dr. Darius. You sort of pull him backwards, and what do you say to him?
Hello?
Darius?
Hello.
Darius?
How are you?
As you do so, this person turns. It's someone that looks a lot like Dr. Darius, but you can tell, like, from the nose, from the cheekbones, he looks a little different. I'm sorry, can I help you?
Excuse me, sir, can I, it's a random check. I'm one of the security guards here. Can I just check your pass real quick?
You can if you get your hands off me.
Of course, yes. And I'll take his pass and do
This
the-
is, I am sorry, but this outfit costs more than what you make in a year.
Oh, I'm sure. It looks very beautiful, sir.
Handsome.
Dralt is just kind of like
it
eyeing him
looks
up and down.
it looks awesome. And he sort of hands you the invitation.
Okay, and then I'll just do a little drop on it.
Yep, it sort of glows, the little droplet.
Okay, carry on, sir. Have a good ball.
Walks in. You kind of like feel like maybe you got the wrong person. Like I said, he looked very similar, especially like from the side and from the back. It isn't until you get really close that he looks kind of, different.
Don't look at me.
Let's make our way back to the rounds, I guess.
Okay, as you sort of wait for the rest of the procession to go in, you make your way around the outskirts and continue your patrol. As you do so, you notice that the procession of food that is coming through is now being brought into the banquet hall. You can see that the dwarf chef has brought out some of his finest work, even having a whole roasted camel being brought out by like a small army of chefs. This camel is basically here's what it is. It is the body of the camel being glazed in honey to perfection. There are various fruits and served sides around the plate, and instead of where the hump is, they have two giant puddings. It's like for those of you who don't know, it's like a creme caramel mountain where the two humps are, dripping and oozing this delicious looking caramel. And these guys are sort of like holding it and sort of like trying to march in, but at the same time keep balanced.
That looks absolutely delicious.
Geralt, it's bigger than you.
I could probably still eat the whole
I
thing.
believe you could.
It kind of looks like they're gonna drop it.
They're
All right.
professionals.
You could offer to give him a hand if you like.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably give us some. Dralt immediately runs over.
They won't.
Shut up, you don't know that.
All right, you rush over to where they are, and you sort of put your arm under it. And, they're like, oh, thank you, lad. Ooh, this thing is pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's something.
Okay, we're taking this to the ballroom. Okay, left, right, left, right. All right. As Geralt is being marched into the ballroom, what are you guys doing?
Continuing round.
Yeah, just.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you don't have a patrol per se. You're supposed to go and investigate kind of as you will. You do have access to the ballroom as well if you wanted to go in.
Okay, we'll go into the
Yes,
ballroom.
I want to go in the ballroom.
Yeah, I guess we'll follow Geralt. 'cause
That's why you were kind of given the really nice clothes and stuff like that, so you can operate there. All right, you all make your way into the ballroom, and you can see literally the height of luxury around you. Everyone's sort of enjoying themselves, having a great time. The prince looks bored out of his mind, like just looks like he's just like he doesn't want to be here. He sort of sees the camel come in, and his interest sort of peaks, like, oh yeah, it's
I'll
a
wave to him.
camel. It's a huge camel. He waved at him. He sort of, can you imagine the prince is like, hey guys, what's up? Crown, crazy. Yeah, no. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, you begin to make your way around the ballroom, and you can see varying people of varying importances. You see obviously Count Karamak, you see the Countess, you see the Baron, that one with the big nose and the falcon.
Mm.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
You also see Rogiv, who is basically just waiting for Geralt to put down the camel.
Oh, he
Geralt is just kind of like look at him like,
he sort of rips off a leg of the camel, and it's almost as big as he is. And he sort of like as you sort of put it down, he sort of like breaks open the shank and sort of gives you like the camel shank.
Jolt immediately digs in.
Oh man, it is the tastiest thing you've ever eaten. If Lawrence of Arabia spoke of like the land of milk and honey, they were describing the taste and experience of eating this meal.
Jolt immediately just kind of like starts sobbing a little bit, like trying to hide it, but he's just. Oh my god.
Actually eat camel?
Yeah.
Is it good?
I don't know.
Oh man, so good. Have you not had camel? Oh my god, camel's crazy good. Like a lot of people don't realize, but there are actually camels in Australia, and yeah. Freaking delicious. Like
I've never even heard of people eating camels.
Does it taste like horse?
I've never eaten horse, admittedly,
Horses
but
are not great.
I imagine
Yeah,
so.
I had it
I
in
mean,
Iceland.
yeah, I imagine so. I mean, like I can't really say because next on my bucket list, eat horse. Okay. So,
Geralt, can you finish your leg already? We kind of.
Can you shut the hell up? How about that?
You can let him enjoy it. He can eat and walk.
That's fair. Would you?
Okay.
Geralt?
All right.
Uh,
he grabs like a stein of like alcohol too, and just like starts walking with that.
all right, as you drink the stein, you realize something, that the mead inside the stein is actually warm. And on this cold Ustavic night, the spices and the aroma of like the apple and the cinnamon and the nutmeg just burst forth through this honey mead.
Oh god.
It's so beautiful.
Oh. I love this place. Can we please never leave?
All right.
I'm
Meanwhile,
hungry.
while Geralt is food gasming, Sorora, what are you up to?
I steal some food and alcohol as well, and I
You-
kind of start dancing around, blend in.
You definitely do so. You find some delicious-looking bear claws that are, absolutely heavenly. When you sort of bite into it, you realize that the inside of the bear claw is not like a dough, but it's almost like croissant flakes that sort of go through. And as you bite into it, it sort of crumbles in your mouth. And between each of the layers is literally apple crumble that just sort of like is sweet and tart and delicious. You sort of grab yourself sort of a pitcher of the nearby stein, which is, again, thanks to Rogiv's contribution, a very delicious spiced metheglin wine. Let's see, what is your character's charisma?
It should be on the first page.
Should be the first page.
Charisma, my ability is 18, and my ability modifier is 4.
Okay. There is not a head unaffected by your presence. When you walk past, everyone's heads turn. You are probably the most beautiful person in the ballroom at the moment. This, however, is negatively affected by by the large woman with the fan. She is not particularly impressed by you because she's like, ugh. But you can see that the beautiful women she surrounds herself with, even some of them are kind of like, damn, like they're like it's just for their particular entourage, beauty is a huge part of it. Khalil, what's you're intelligence based?
Yes.
Yeah. And Darby, so are you. Okay, cool.
I do have 12
So-
charisma, if that helps.
Okay, so while Sorora is traveling through this area, she will gain a +2 on charisma-based checks
Dang.
from everyone except that group, where you will take a -2 penalty.
Okay.
All right.
So
You said negative
Teddy ass
what?
bitches.
So you get
2.
So +2 and a -2?
plus
Yeah.
to everyone besides the catty bitches.
Pretty much. That is very much exactly the astute observation you see. Is there anyone in particular you would like to mingle with?
Who's around besides
Well-
the catty bitches?
Besides, who's not the catty bitches? All right. You've got Rogiv, who is the werewolf hunter. You've got a varying array of sort of minor nobles like merchants and kind of the wealthy entrepreneurs and stuff like that. You obviously have the elderly huntsmaster. You have let me give some names to you. So we've got, let's see. You've also got this portly looking man who you know is a priest of Pharasma. You also have, where are you? There we go. Sorry, computer being slow. There we go. Okay, so you also have what appears to be this this very French-looking individual, as Count Lucien Galdana, who is, like this very upstanding man with a long kind of mullet-like hair, goatee. He is the aristocrat in charge of the Amans. The representative of the Ardil is the Caddy Bitches. The Count Arisian Nesca is the Count of Barrow, which is the old man who you saw, like, he's like kind of in a military regala with a walking stick, white gloves, and he's even got a sword on his hilt. You've got a woman who looks more like a gypsy than anything else. She wears black robes that have these spiral patterns on it and a high collar. You know this to be Zoanessa Thel, a kind of like a regional sort of Varisian is the name of the words, but I don't want to say like gypsy people, like kind of the travelers, the very good storytellers. They're kind of those kind of people. Rogif, as I mentioned before.
The politically correct term for
Romani?
Romani? Well, no, I literally mean like they're like the Romani are a white people, but I more mean specifically in caravans stealing things from people, like the charlatans,
Right.
the tricksters.
Stereotype.
Yeah, the negative stereotype. So not Romani, but the actual negative stereotype, the gypsy. They exist within that world, and there's kind of that idea that's behind at least her type of people. Let's see, the
I can
Count.
talk to her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And the only other person is Count Karamak. Oh, and that fat bishop, whose name is Bishop Yesmaradin Senir.
Bishop
Indeed.
bitch.
All right. So you want to go talk to the Zoanessa?
Yes.
All right. As you approach her, you realize that she also has kind of like this unearthly beauty towards her. She has one eye that is green and one eye that is a blue. She speaks to you in like almost like this coo, like you would hear a mother speaking to a child, and she greets you warmly. Hello, my dear. Are you enjoying the party?
No, I think it's kind of lame. You seem like the most interesting person here.
Well, you are indeed too kind. I am Zoanessa Thel.
I'm Samora. I almost said Gamora.
You give a fake name.
No, I don't want to give it a fake name. Wait, what the hell? Sorora. I keep thinking Gamora or Sorora.
Segura.
I'm Sigourney Weaver.
Ah, Miss Weaver. It's so nice to meet you.
Why are you here? Can I check? Are we checking invitations or no?
You can if you want.
I have the thing.
Yeah, you can totally do that if you want.
Did we get one vial? Or
No,
four
I don't
vials?
want to check. I think that's kind of rude. How are you enjoying the ball yourself?
Well, if you were to ask me honestly, I would say that I too feel that this party is quite lame. There are much more pressing things I would rather be doing. But perhaps meeting you is one of them. May I see your hand, dear?
Yeah, I give my hand.
She sort of takes out what appears to be a pin. She doesn't stab you. She just sort of seems to trace along the like lines of your hands, and she says, "Interesting. You have a very bright future ahead of you. Something lost will be found. Something new will break. And you'll find yourself confronted and torn between..." And with that, as that happens, we then cut to Darby.
Mm-hmm.
Darby, you... Oh, sorry, yep. Darby, you've also entered the ballroom, and around you can see the hustling and bustling of the people enjoying and rubbing elbows.
So he's like completely serious. I'm completely
Yep.
self-serious, just walking around, looking for any slight thing that looks out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm. Roll a perception check.
22.
With a 22, the only thing you really notice out of the ordinary is the bishop, this fat, rotund individual who wears a Pharasman chain over his chest. Every now and then he sort of pauses, looks around, and takes a decanther out of his jacket. And yeah, he's- Yep, go on.
I do the same thing.
he doesn't seem to notice you, but yeah, you've noticed him.
Yeah. I'll just continue to keep an eye out.
Okay, you can roll me another perception check.
Specifically, kind of staying like keeping away from people, other than to like look at them. $17.
Okay, with a 17, you basically see the party is going well. The prince is bored out of his mind. Captain Dreyfus is like sitting there like a hawk, staring at everyone. You also notice that Evelyn seems to be getting ready to take the stage.
Is there like higher up, like a place I could get a good vantage point higher up,
Pretty much exactly where Evelyn is.
where she is now, or where? And she's just on the stage.
Yeah.
And she's singing?
Yes.
Okay.
This is what she's singing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep looking around, intentionally being off-putting so people don't come talk to me.
Very well. You create a standoffish aura, and now there is a bubble of antisocial lingering around the alchemist. Khalil, you,
What?
you've come into the area, and again you can see Sorora has gone and started speaking with one of the guests. You see Darby sort of in the corner, sort of drinking and muttering to himself. You see Geralt feasting happily on a giant camel shank and drinking, while Rogiv sort of pats him on the back and sort of seems to be making a mess of his very nice new threads.
Outside that door, is there like a patio or something to like look outside?
There is, in fact, two large cathedral-like windows that are behind where the throne is. There is a patio that leads out to a patio.
Okay, I would like to go there.
As you approach the throne, Captain Dreyfus sort of eyeballs you, and you can kind of get the very distinct impression that he doesn't want you to approach.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Kill him! No.
Kill him.
Uh,
I guess I'll take the hint and I'll just I'm gonna go talk to Count Karamak.
Okay. You go over to where Count Karamak is. He sort of sees you, and he is actually not in his lab coat. He is dressed in a suit as well. This one is quite fancy, and he says he seems to be holding a glass of wine. And he sort of raises it to you. Ah, well met. We've got to stop bumping into each other. People might start talking, especially in these circles.
Maybe you should tell him that the baby thing, his child, is in our room.
No,
Oh yeah, that's probably a good
How are
idea.
you enjoying the party so far, Cam?
Ah, it is droll and it takes me away from my research. The sooner the prince makes his announcement, the better.
I mean, her singing is beautiful, at least, right?
Ah, yes, she has a voice, but nothing that could compare to my Honora.
Your prize, by the way, it's safely in our room.
Ah, this is good to hear. Thank you. Your
Of course.
assistance is most helpful.
Who's Honora?
I don't know.
That's what you just said, Nora.
Said
No,
not as-
nothing compared to his. You said, whenever you said she was singing beautifully.
Who's Honora?
My wife.
Is she dead?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Your wife is Evelyn's sister?
What?
No.
I'm confused.
What are you? What? Where did you get
Uh,
that?
That was a huge leap in logic.
Evelyn is singing. So how
Yes.
did you say Nora's voice is beautiful?
You
He
said,
didn't
doesn't she have a
literally hear it.
beautiful voice? And he said, yes, she does, but it's nothing compared to my beloved Honora.
You with us now?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Can I come over there and assist with this?
No,
Comes over there. Hi, Khalil. You seem to be in trouble. Can I help you?
casual conversation. I'm not trying to get any dirt.
It's okay. I am a doctor. I can remove his foot from his mouth. It's a simple procedure.
Yeah, anyways, I don't mean to bother you, Count Karamak. Enjoy the party.
And yet here we are. He says, no, this is very well. Please enjoy the party, and hopefully we'll speak soon on other matters.
Yes.
Hint, hint.
All right.
What was his wife's name again?
Nora.
Okay. At this point, Evelyn stops singing, and the prince rises to his feet. Everyone suddenly falls quiet. After the guests have settled into a hush, the music having also stopped, Captain Dreyfus stands and announces, announcing His Royal Highness, Prince Aridad Ardonti III. Everyone in the crowd immediately bows.
Including
I bow.
We bow.
Geralt, yeah.
You bow? Okay, good. I don't control your characters. It's the only thing I don't control.
Yeah.
All right. As you all bow, he sort of stands up. The crown of Ustalav upon his head. He says, "Honored guests, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the Blood Moon Ball. Our host, sadly, was unable to join us this evening, but extends his highest hospitality. On behalf of our esteemed host, Count Tyriak, and myself, I hope that you enjoy this evening to the fullest." The crowd. He's so great. He's so great. He's so handsome. But before we proceed with the night's festivities, there's another matter that must be attended to. I have gathered the nobles of my principality together. As some of you are aware, Ustalav has been no stranger to the perils of the undead, and its long and lasting history is filled and rife with danger. Cue dramatic music. Recent events have been no exception to this, with the town of Carrion Hill facing near destruction earlier this week at the hands of a virulent zombie plague. Many of the townsfolk succumbed to the disease, but thankfully all was not lost, and many escaped with their lives, with thanks to the valiant sweepers that we have our safety and the safety of our friends and our family to thank for. Now, this attack was simply one of many that Ustalav has had of late. And as this pestilence poses a great risk not only to our countrymen, it also poses a risk to our neighbors. And it is to that end that together with the aid of the Kyonin elves, the Knights of Ozum, and the dwarven engineers of the Five King Mountains, a wall has been erected around Ustalav. 500-foot tall, stone and iron, completely surrounding our borders. Those currently within the borders of our great nation must remain here until the pestilence has been silenced, and the use of any magic or otherwise to defy this will be punishable by death. The crowd falls hushly silent. I hope that you understand. Ustalav is not a nation unto itself, and it is with the safety of our other friends and allies in mind that we seal ourselves off to deal with this problem as Ustalavic people can. I ask that you return to your contingents, and suddenly,
No.
the glass behind the throne shatters. 2 canisters roll in. These canisters of glass smash, releasing a noxious yellow plume, covering the area in a thick cloud of mustard-smelling gas. Everyone coughs and splutters. The nobles begin to panic. As the cloud rises, the guards take their stance and begin to protect the prince. A humming sound erupts over the dinge as several hunched, winged insects made of solid gold and twisting gears float up, humming and buzzing like giant bloated mosquitoes. Rising out of the cloud, wearing a leather mask, is a picture that I have lined up for us. An individual wearing a mosquito-like figure, wearing white robes. This creature yells out in an insectile voice, "The sting of the sturgeon shall strike the sweet nectar of royal blood this day." He unravels his sleeves, and 12 more of these mechanical mosquitoes fly forth and begin attacking the crowd, 5 of which seem to be attacking you. Roll initiative.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop my awareness to get the bonus to initiative.
Mike yells out to Darby, "What?"
I'm going to pop my heightened awareness to get the bonus to initiative.
Okay. All right. Initiatives, please.
17.
Sorry, was that 17?
Yes.
17 for Sorora.
Geralt
Yep.
got a 16.
16
Dobby
for
got
Geralt.
15.
15 for Darby. Yep.
And Khalil got a 7.
7 for Khalil.
One day.
All right. The Sturgeon.
He called himself the
Yes.
the sting of the sturgeon.
Yes. And the Sturges will go dead last. Okay. Alright, so to begin, as the panic begins to set in, Evelyn looks to you. She sort of raises her voice and begins to sing in a high-pitched wail as Christine rises from the floor as a ghostly figure in front of the sturgeon. The giant hunched-over guy with the mosquito mask leaps into the air with these wings that just appear on his back and take him into the sky. The ghost of Christine reaches up and flies into the air, beginning to try and grab at this individual. Evelyn says, "You need to stop the Sturges from attacking the nobles." The doors seem to be locked as people bang on the doors trying to escape. These giant mechanical mosquitoes lunging at some of the nobles' backs and draining blood into a canister that is attached to the devices. This is the scene that you see unfold before you as we go to Sorora's turn.
Is there one of those mechanical mosquitoes near me?
There are two nearby.
Okay, so my attack isn't really good. I don't think I have any spells that would, like, really help, right? Well, let's see. I have, like, the Bane, which is enemy takes -1 on attack rolls and saves against fear. Should I just, attack or maybe,
Probably, yeah.
save someone?
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Maybe I can grab that woman that I'm with. What's her name again?
Zoes. Yeah.
Can I grab her and kind of like go behind the stage area?
Yep. You can definitely lead her there. She sort of, seems a bit flustered, but otherwise she's not completely panicked and freaking out. She sort of follows you as you guide her to off to the side, and she sort of takes cover behind the stage. She says, "What is this?"
I don't know what this is. We secured, everything seemed very secured. I don't know how they got in here. There must be cahoots with someone that let these creatures in.
I certainly hope not. She seems to sort of... Yep.
Is she able to read, like, the future, or is that just, like, a palm reading thing she has?
You could ask her to try and read the future if you like.
I don't know what to do here. Yes.
Getting people to safety seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Okay, you wait here, and I'm gonna go see if I can collect more people.
She sort of nods at you as you return to the fray. All right, next up we have Geralt.
All right. Geralt is going
in front of Geralt, you can see that there is a Sturge that is currently being fended off by a large bone and Rogief as he's sort of swinging. But these wide swings are being easily avoided by the giant mechanical mosquito.
All right, Geralt is going to he's going to pick up one of the like mugs of alcohol, and he's going to throw it at him.
At Rogief?
Well, at the sturgeon.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. All right. The sturgeon is high up in the air. Make your attack.
25.
All right, with a 25, you're as you see up in the air, the ghost of Christine and the sturgeon are sort of doing battle. You see him sort of like stabbing at the ghost with like this magical dagger, and Christine sort of like grabbing hold and trying to wail into his ears. The bottle sort of smashes into the back of the head of the sturgeon, who looks down angrily at you, and you hear him sort of let loose this kind of mechanical buzz. 2 sturges head in your direction. Okay, roll your damage.
All right. What would be my damage for that?
1d4
Right. Plus my strength.
plus plus your strength.
Can I give him
4.
a one on an attack roll and skill checks?
What?
'Cause I
What
have
from?
a guidance and it's like a touched creature.
Oh,
gives-
guidance.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a spell, so you'd need a cast.
You can cast it on him and he'll get +1.
You have to do next turn.
But yeah, you'll have to
Okay.
wait till your next turn.
Yeah.
So 4 damage.
4 damage. Okay. 4 damage. Sweet. All right. Darby!
Where's the biggest cluster of the little flying bugs?
Near the door, where the door is locked, and several of the nobles are frantically trying to push their way out.
How many?
You see
Oh,
3 sturges there.
How many nobles?
Oh, about maybe 12, 13.
Okay.
You could see the old man sort of guarding them, as it were, with his sword drawn and sort of swatting at these mechanical mosquitoes. He doesn't seem to be hitting, and anytime he does, he seems to be rather weakly hitting them. So it's sort of like bouncing off their hard armor.
Okay. How are they next to each other?
Who next to each other?
The beetles or the sturgeon?
The 3 of them are, the ones that are attacking the group. There's one fighting Rogier over by where Geralt is. There's 2 heading for.
I mean, in that group though. Basically, what I'm asking is, like, they're are they tiny, or are they? pretty
They're
big?
small, like halfling sized.
Halfling sized.
Yeah.
So they take up a square normally, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if they're adjacent to each other, I'll take a bomb and throw them at one, and negate the rest of the squares besides the ones that they're in, because it's just in adjacent squares. And I can
Okay.
I can negate all the ones besides those 3.
Okay, reflex saves.
Isn't it just a touch attack?
Oh yeah, right. No, but it'd be a
Well,
reflex save
it's
for 2 of them.
It's a touch attack to the one I'm hitting, and then the
Yeah,
rest
yeah,
of them
yeah.
make reflex saves. 16.
16 will hit.
All right. So that one.
Roll your damage.
That one takes 12 fire damage,
Yep.
and the rest of them take 9 splash fire damage unless they make a reflex save for half.
One of them did. The other one did not. All right. So with that, a large explosion of fire sort of spreads out. The nobles begin to panic even more. All right. The sturgeon gets to go next. The gas levels seem to rise. Could I get everyone to make me a fortitude save, please?
Geralt got a 21.
Darby also got a 21.
Yep.
Cleo got a natural 20.
I
Yeah.
got a 3.
Oh, well, Sorora, you are sickened, so you'll take a -2 penalty on your attack rolls, skill checks, and saving throws while you are in this mist. Everyone, the area is now become partially concealed, so there is a 20% chance your attacks will miss
Right.
while the mist is in the air. Okay, we then go to Khalil.
Do you have any kind of wind spell? Or you, Khalil, do you have any kind of wind spell?
I was just looking.
I do have the torch, though.
It's not gonna do anything.
So where's the closest one to me?
This one is attacking Count Karamak. Count Karamak is. Oh no, sorry, no. This one is actually attacking the very large, rotund bishop who is hiding under a table.
How many of these things are in total? Do I know? Of his
There are
bedroom?
7 of them. Well, there are 12 in total in the room, but there are 7 currently attacking you.
Okay. So I'm gonna run up and attack that one. I'm gonna cast by spending a spell point. I'm gonna imbue my weapon with lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm going to spend another arcane points, or my spell pool, to enchant my weapon +1 on top of that.
All right, cool. Your sword begins to glow with an eldritch energy as it becomes sharper and more deadly.
It's lightning is what I'm tuning it with.
Yep. It crackles with lightning.
Didn't sound too cool.
16.
16?
Yes.
That'll hit.
Okay, hit it.
Lightning explodes from the metal creature as you struck it.
That's 10 points of lightning damage and 4 points of slashing damage.
All right, this one falls to the ground with lightning still crackling over its metal body. As it does, you notice that it had some blood in it. The blood sort of pours out of it. But it all seems to be made of, like, metal and glass,
Okay.
which is very weird, because golems aren't supposed to work in here.
At least that's what we were told.
All right. The Sturges move over to attack. All right, so 2 on Geralt. 16 AC.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just barely hits me.
One of them misses as you deftly dodge, but you do not see the other one coming from behind as it strikes you in the shoulder. You take no initial damage. It is now grappling you, and you take 1 con drain. Or 1 con damage as it sort of starts to drain your blood.
They're mosquitoes.
Oh, shit.
All right. The ones that Darby exploded turn towards Darby and begin to chase him.
Okay.
You can roll a reflex save to try and run.
Natural 1.
Oh, no.
You do not. All right, so that is a 23 to hit,
Yep.
12 to hit,
Nope.
another 23 to hit.
Yep.
2 of these mosquitoes, thwack, thwack, hit you in the gut and hit you in the chest and begin to drain you. You take 2 points of constitution damage.
All right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so the one fighting Rogeef is still sort of fighting Rogeef as he's sort of swinging and swatting. The one that, Khalil severed sort of sparks and splutters and twitches on the ground. All right, Zorora, we're back up to you.
So, the sting of the sturgeon, the main one, what is he doing at the moment?
He is flying on the ceiling of the ballroom, engaged in an aerial battle with the ghost of Christine.
Oh, okay. So, and then what is Count Karamak doing?
He is attempting to, like Nesca, protect the nobles as best he can. He's not doing a good job, mind you, because he's not really a warrior per se, but he is sort of like swinging a tray at them, trying to keep them away.
Do you think I should go and ask if I can sneak out and get the Lepistat beast? Do you think he could help?
Yeah.
He might get
Problem
killed.
is all the doors are locked.
All the doors
Oh,
are
yeah.
locked.
All the doors are locked.
You could
All
try
right.
to unlock one of the doors.
He might die.
Also, he
He's
could
already
like
undead.
go into a frenzy
Yeah,
and
he
like
could kill people. He could hurt
start
innocent people.
purchasing people.
He could.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, then in that case,
But getting the door open would not be a bad idea if you
That's
think
true.
you could do that.
yeah. So I'm going to give. Who is gonna attack next? Because I think I can give them.
Geralt.
Give them the
Yeah, that'll be me.
+1 attack roll on skill checks. That's the guidance, and then I can. I
How
guess
long
I'll.
does that last? Just a round or what?
Yeah, just a round. I believe.
All right, you raise your hands and you begin to make symbols. As you cast your spell, you say your prayer, and all of a sudden, Geralt, you feel as though like you can sort of see an outline of where your enemy is about to move, giving you an extra +1 bonus to
A minute. Lasts for a minute.
to your attacks and skills.
And then the ones that are fight. Can I do my level 1 spell too at the same time?
You can only do one or the other.
You get it for
Okay. Well then.
It lasts a minute, but you only get it once. But you can choose when to use it.
Oh, okay. So I don't even have to use it right now.
No.
Okay, and then I'll go and run to the door and see what I could try to figure out.
All right, you approach the door and you realize that there is a magic seal on it, but it can probably be destroyed, like the door just itself, like it's still wood. You can hear on the other side that there are guards trying to unfasten it, but they seem to be struggling.
Okay.
We go to Geralt then.
All right, Geralt is going to attempt to remove this stupid bug that's on him.
All right, the stupid bug. Geralt flavored.
What would I be rolling for this?
Your attack.
My attack.
Free
Okay.
spell.
Let's see here. 26.
Okay, you sort of turn around, you sort of wham, punch this thing to try and get it off. Roll your damage.
Oh, actually, if that's also the case, because my base attack bonus is above 8, I also get another attack.
You have a base attack bonus
Yep.
above 8?
No,
you don't.
no, your base attack bonus isn't above 8.
There's no way. Just your base attack bonus.
Yes.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just to be clear, base attack bonus and attack bonus are two separate things.
Your
Base attack bonus
is
plus your strength makes your attack bonus. Your base attack bonus, for example, fighter class, is 1 per level. So you should only be at 5.
Oh, okay. All right, I messed that up.
That's
Base
okay.
attack bonus.
Well, it was still 8 anyways, but yeah. All right.
That's your
Never
attack
mind.
bonus.
That's plus your
But yeah.
strength, though.
Yeah.
Base attack bonus.
That's fine. Deal your damage.
All right.
I mean, you could technically do a flurry of blows if you want, but you know.
Yes.
Did 10 damage.
As you belt this thing in the head, you deal 10 points of damage. Did you want to do flurry of blows?
Yeah, might as well.
All right, so you basically hit it once, and then you go back and you reel up and you try to hit it again.
Let's see here. So that's gonna be 24.
Jesus Christ.
Hits.
Good. And that one was 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. This thing just falls apart. Like, it just breaks into tiny little pieces. You see that the Sturges kind of do not like this at all. And they sort of turn their attention to Geralt. Darby, it's your turn.
So I have 2 on me?
You have 3 on you.
3 on me. They're all attached to me.
Oh, no, sorry. 2 attached to you, 1 is attacking.
One is near me. So they
Yeah.
occupy the same square as me right now, or?
Yes.
Okay. I will just take one of my bombs and smash it against one that's against me.
All right, make your
Pretty
attack.
hardcore.
That is really hardcore, actually.
17.
That'll hit. Okay, roll your damage.
Oh, lordy. Nice. Nice. That one takes 15 damage.
All right, and
me
all
and all the
three.
other people.
Yep, all three go down. You can roll me a reflex save.
All right. 20.
Is that high enough to beat your
Yeah.
DC?
Yeah.
Then you take no damage because you are a tiefling and you are fine with fire.
Yep.
Sweet.
All right.
That was
the
a good
Sturges,
idea.
the Sturges fall to the ground, leaving only two remaining. The one that is fighting the Count Nesca, and one that is fighting the what do you call it?
Zangief.
Rogief.
Rogi.
Zangief.
It's fighting Zangief.
Is he just gonna pile drive?
Yeah.
If I cannot come to Blood Moon Festival and crush man's head between thighs like sparrow's egg. No. Okay. Khalil,
Yes.
it is your turn.
There's only 2 of these things left?
Yeah.
How did I get from 12 to 2 so fast?
Oh, it's not just you fighting the 12. You're
Oh.
fighting about 7 of them. The rest of them are fighting the guards, Captain Dreyfus,
Okay, cool. Easy enough.
and they're killing their own.
Well... did I notice the electricity do anything more to the thing than... Okay, I'm gonna walk up, and I'm going to cast chill touch through my blade and swing at this thing.
All right.
Oh, he did hear that. I was gonna say, I have a feeling he didn't hear any of that, but
But you and Mike don't.
me and Mike don't. Okay.
I feel like we need to someday just like draw up these NPCs like Mike and the editor and all that.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
13.
13. 13 will not hit
Figured, damn it.
as you miss the Sturge with a wide swing. All right. Let's have a look. All right. The Sturges. One completely misses Rogief, and Rogief basically grabs hold of him and sort of pulls him apart.
Oh my god.
The other one, oh my god! That was 2 natural ones in a row. The other one is fighting the old man who's got a sword, and he just basically goes and breaks the last of the Sturges apart. The sturgeon cries out, "Your crimes shall not go unpunished, false prince!" And he throws what appears to be a red needle made of bright red. It flies through the air, and as it does so, it heads straight for the prince. As it does, you watch it spin towards him. He leaps over to the side as Captain Dreyfus pushes him down, and the needle whacks him in the neck. Dreyfus falls to the ground. The ghost of Christine flies up, grabs hold of the wings on the back of this device, and rips the wings off. As the sturgeon falls to the ground, he looks around, looking at you, and he says, "Well, my job is done." And he sort of jumps out the window that he broke into. As you hear a thump of him landing into the courtyard below, you can hear the sounds of the doors busting open. Arthur, Valentine have all burst in, and you see them escorting nobles out. All right, you have a couple of options in front of you. What do you want to do? You can, check on Captain Dreyfus. You can secure the prince. You can try to arrange the panicking crowd, or you can chase after the sturgeon. I mean, what do you guys want to do?
We have the option to try to change that. I want to chase after the Sturgis. I mean, I also want to check on the prince, but
Prince seemed fine.
It's
You can do multiple things. It's not a case of if you can do one, you can't do the others.
Well, if I saw him go out the window,
Mm-hmm.
I would take my mutagen that makes me more dexterous,
Mm-hmm.
and jump out following him.
I'm gonna cast Expeditious Retreat on myself and follow Darby.
Nice. Okay. Geralt?
Yep. Yeah, he's gonna follow after too.
Sorora?
You're slow.
I guess I'll go check on
That's
Dreyfus.
slow.
All right, so checking on Dreyfus. You can make a heal check if you wish to.
Okay. 17.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. You basically notice that the needle in his neck contains a very virulent poison. You quickly rip it out of his neck, but it's obviously in a carotid artery, so it starts to bleed profusely. You quickly, sort of place your hands over the wound, trying to hold it back. And a few moments later, you could hear sort of through all of the cursing and swearing that, Arthur is coming, he'll be here in any moment. You notice that the Captain Dreyfus's lips start to turn blue and his eyes begin to sort of discolor as you're sort of trying to keep him stable. You'll need to make a couple of checks coming up. So basically this is how it's going to work. Everyone's going to be in a skill check challenge. You need to succeed 3 times before you fail 3 times. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start with the first one. The sturgeon begins his run. As he does so, he leaves the ballroom and jumps from the window to the courtyard. You've all followed, so please make an acrobatics check if you can.
Let's see here. Oh wait. 27 for Geralt.
Darby, Khalil?
20 for Darby.
Khalil got a 12.
All right. As Darby and Geralt land on their feet and can continue this pursuit, you see that Khalil breaks his ankle a little bit. Oh, no, not breaks it, but, strains his ankle jumping from the top. But thankfully, with his expeditious retreat, he can actually manage with that. All right, you begin to run into the main castle compound. Make a survival check as you try to pick up his trail.
Do we do it even if we're not trained?
Yeah.
5 for Geralt.
22 for Darby.
19 for Khalil.
All right. Geralt has no idea where they've gone, but Darby and Khalil both notice that there's a door swinging in the wind and then realize that there is no wind indoors and ran straight for that door. You can kind of see his back as ahead of you as he seems to be running towards what appears to be another garden. Meanwhile, back in the ballroom, Captain Dreyfus seems to be kind of in a critical condition and requires a heal check from Sorora in order to try and stabilize the injury.
I do have the stabilize spell.
That'll stop the bleeding.
Okay.
So yeah, you could use that if you wish to.
Yeah.
All right. Casting a spell, the bleeding now stops. He just sort of seems to be just in a tremendous amount of pain. You can roll me a heal check separately just to kind of identify stuff.
7.
Plus your heal of...
My heal of... Would it be my modifier?
Yep.
1, so 8.
8. Sadly, you can't really tell too much, but you know that blood loss of that magnitude wouldn't necessarily just resolve in, the lips turning blue, but the eye coloration makes you think that perhaps there's something more to the dart than simply hitting a vein. All right. Meanwhile, up ahead, the the sturgeon has approached some hedges and leaps using the broken wings on his back to try and get a bit of elevation. He jumps over it in a single bound. You guys can make a climb or an acrobatics check to get through.
Okay.
I'm gonna do acrobatics for sure.
His wings still work though.
Kinda.
Not really. They can kind of keep him aloft a little bit, but
we don't
not.
have any time to do anything else. Like even if I have a potion that's already made.
You will lose distance if you do, because he's double moving.
All right, Drunk got a 12.
12. Khalil,
Can I use my hero point here?
you can.
Okay, it's my only hero point because I rolled a natural 1.
Oof.
That's not much better. 4.
4. All right, with a 4, you most certainly do not get through the the hedge as you sort of like hit it. Darby.
I also spent a hero point to get +4, which will bring me to a 21.
Yep, you, however, do manage to cut a hole through it, as does Geralt, and Khalil, you can follow behind.
Yeah.
As you continue onwards, past the gardens into an inner area, you can see that there appears to be what looks to be a slippery stone path adjacent to a fountain. Make an acrobatics check to try and maintain your balance.
Oh lordy.
11.
Come on.
I'm gonna spend another.
This sucks. I have an 8 modifier, and I'm rolling like super bad.
3.
Cleo rolled a
I
10.
got a 3.
Nope.
I spend another hero point because I've been hoarding these for some reason. Which is going to bring me to an 18.
18. Oh, just. Both of them slip and fall on the path. You, however, Darby, managed to find an inner part to this garden and the source of the water for the fountain, where the sturgeon seems to be waiting for you. He looks at you and he says, "You don't understand. None of you will, but I will show you. I will teach you in blood."
That's probably not a very affecting teaching method.
Fair enough. All right. At the Blood Moon, back at the ballroom, Arthur arrives and begins to heal the wounds, and says, yeah, quick, you need to go after them. You need to go after your friends. I've got this.
Okay. I go out the window and follow after them.
Okay. You guys struggle on the slippery path, so you guys will not get to act in the first round.
Okay.
Madison,
Yes.
you will arrive. Well, actually, could Geralt and Khalil roll me a reflex save?
Reflex.
I really wish I had visualization of the body.
21.
That's what my mutagen does.
Is it? What do you say, acrobatics or just dex?
Acrobatics.
6.
Ugh. All right. Do you want to help him up, Geralt?
Yeah, I'll help him.
All right. Roll an acrobatics, the both of you.
Oh lordy.
Let's see here. 16.
Natural
Oh, and a
20.
natural 20.
Now I wasted
All right.
it on that.
You basically, Sorora, you arrive as you watch Geralt sort of pulling Khalil to his feet. Meanwhile, the sturgeon makes his attacks on Darby.
Bring it.
As he.
Bring it. Early.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like the confidence. All right. So the sturgeon. What do you even do? I've got some stuff. Let's see. He throws a dart at you. No, sorry. No. First of all, he places a dart into his neck and injects it. And as he does, he swells into a massive sort of insectoid form.
Can I tell if that looks like familiar to the same thing I kind of do?
Oh, it looks exactly like the same thing you kind of do. He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out 4 needles on each hand, each filled with an even more virulent-looking toxin in the other. And he looks at you and he says, "Let's dance."
Okay. So then it's my
All right.
turn.
Yes.
I'm going to throw a stink bomb at him.
All right. Make your attack.
Natural 20!
Oh, okay. Roll your. You don't do damage with a stink bomb, do you?
Yeah, it still does damage.
Oh, okay. Yep. Roll your damage. Oh, sorry. Roll to confirm the crit
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Probably not. 5 plus. No. How close is he?
He's about 20 foot away.
Okay. 14.
14. That does not confirm.
2 more than that because of,
That does not confirm.
my mutagen. 16
No.
versus touch.
But you can do your yes versus touch. You can do your regular damage though.
All right. He takes. Oh, so does it not hit him?
Oh no, it hits him. It just doesn't crit.
Right. That's what I was. I've got totally confused there. Let's see. So I do. He takes 14 fire damage,
Jesus.
and he has to make a fortitude save, or else he becomes nauseated.
Okay. That is a 19 on his fortitude save.
Yep, he's good.
Okay. All right. His turn again. He throws a dart at you, Darby.
Mm-hmm.
He also gets a natural 20.
Oh, God.
No.
26 to hit.
To confirm it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
All right.
Jesus.
You
Are you
take
gonna-
critical damage.
Are you gonna roll a crit card?
I can roll a crit card. No, I won't roll a crit card. I feel like that's mean when he's solo. All right.
No.
All right. You take 16 points of damage and make me a fortitude save. Hey, don't laugh. That was on a crit, my guys. I'm just pointing that out. It's 16 damage on a crit. That means he
Yeah.
did 8 damage normally.
Yes, that's not that crazy.
You said fortitude?
Yes, please.
21.
All right. You feel as though the syringe had something in it because it pumped it into you, but you don't know what. But you seem to have resisted it. All right. The rest of the group arrive and watch as the scene unfolds with the sturgeon having thrown darts at Darby. Anyone say anything?
No, I know. I'm just gonna go.
Ow!
Yeah, just gonna run right at him.
All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna kick off with Sorora.
Okay, so are you just like on the floor or are you okay?
I'm at 7 hit points.
Okay. I guess I can go over to him and help him out. Yeah. I could do like, the light wound, cure light wound, and I could try to attack with the rest, but all I have are my little Wolverine hands, so I could just slash. Can I slash off his nose?
You can try to slash off his nose if you like, but you wouldn't be able to heal Darby at the same time.
That cloud, it'll make you nauseated if you go inside of it.
Okay, I won't go near that cloud. I'll just keep healing Darby.
All right, roll 1d8 plus 4.
Plus 4.
1d8.
Mhm.
8.
Nope.
This one. This this one. 7 plus 4.
Nice. So that's 13 points of healing that you lay your hands on Darby. You see the wound on his chest sort of slowly seal up. All right, we then go to Geralt.
All right, Geralt's gonna run right at him and try and punch him.
All right, make your attack as you rush across and leap over to hit him.
All right, and I'm gonna use Brawler's Flurry.
Okay. You can't use Blower's Flurry because that's a full round action. You need to move to get to him.
That's right.
Yep.
All right.
Also, there's concealment, and if he ends his turn in the cloud, he has to make a fortitude save.
That's okay. I'm rolling that.
Okay.
11.
11. You go to swing at him, and your fists only hit the mist. You do not seem to have any effect on the sturgeon. Roll a fortitude save.
17.
You're good.
Yep. There is a pungent smell, but you managed to stay back your gag reflex. Khalil.
I cast Enlarged Person on Geralt.
Hey, that will.
Geralt grows bigger!
You're a normal.
He is now a
size
regular-sized person.
And
That actually has a massive impact on my damage,
Yeah.
by the way.
and then
You do like d6s now, right?
Yeah, I rolled 2 d6s instead of 1.
is there any way to position myself to cast Burning Hands without hitting Geralt?
Yep. You move your way past Geralt off to the side so that you can cast Burning Hands. You've basically gotten into position.
Nice.
You can cast 2 spells.
All right, Darby.
Oh, you're setting up for that. I am going to take my move action to load up in one of my special bolts, the Tanglefoot bag.
Yep.
And shoot it at this motherfucker. Uh, 19.
19 will hit. Roll your damage. Oh no, it's a regular Tanglefoot bag, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a Tanglefoot bag.
Oh, okay, hang on. No, there's no damage then.
No, I loaded it into my crossbow, so it's still
Oh yeah, crossbow damage. Right.
my my weird infused bolts or whatever with splash weapons.
Yeah. All right, he seems to be stuck in place.
Yes. That's good because I rolled a 1 on damage. He takes 2 damage.
Oh no! As your crossbow bolt hits him, he sort of goes back a bit, and he's like, "Oh, wow, is that it?" And just sort of snaps off the arrow. All right, the sturgeon's turn. He says, "You fools! I'll get you and your little dog too." No. He what does he do next?
Oh, and the cloud goes away now.
Okay.
He pulls out what appears to be a rapier
Oh.
and stabs at Geralt. He misses Geralt with his natural 1, but you notice something very odd. When he misses you, he actually hits the fountain behind you. And as he did, you watched the blade basically turn blue, and you watched the level of the fountain just go.
Oh, that's
So
bad.
drains people.
Yeah.
Don't let that touch you.
You can't move right now.
All right. After the sturgeon, we're back up to the top
Throw
with
stuff at him
Sorora.
from range. Be good.
Okay, so is he kind of stuck in that fountain still?
Yeah, he's stuck in place by the Tanglefoot bag. If you want, you can make me a diplomacy check. Sorry, perception check. What am I saying?
Diplomacy check.
I was like, diplomacy, alright.
You don't need to do this.
And that's what the 12?
Yeah.
Oh.
No? 8?
Wait,
No, that's
D20.
with the 20.
this is the 20.
That's right.
Yeah,
You had
D20.
the 20 in your
Add
hand,
your-
but you said 12.
You add your
Yeah, I'm-
perception onto it.
Okay, so I am doing the 20?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
17, and then my perception.
Yep.
1 is my modifier.
There should be more than that.
My perception.
No, that's
It's
still
like
fine.
all of them.
You notice
She doesn't have any ranks.
that that behind the hedges of the fountain, you know how I mentioned that there was like a sort of like a small little like the path of the water seems to be kind of spreading out from the fountain.
Mhm.
There appears to be a very large head on the other side of the hedges
Very large head.
It's not a class.
in the direction of one of the little outlets of water.
Okay.
And you hear the sounds of skipping stones.
He left the room.
One.
Damn it, Tony! You had one job.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to see who the head is.
No, he's on the other side of the hedges that you're standing at. You'd have to either climb over them or yell out to him or cut a hole in the hedge.
I'll cut a hole in the hedge.
All right, you sort of cut a hole in the hedge, and you pass through, and you can sure as hell see Tony, who's sort of looking at the water, and he's sort of like skipping stones, but at the same time he's sort of watching because there are fish in the little water things. So he's like skipping stones further ahead and driving the fish up to where he is.
Can I be like, why are you outside?
Hello, pretty lady. There were noises. A bug came in. Big bug. I got scared. I ran.
That's good, actually.
It was not friendly. It tried to eat me. And he sort of shows the hand, and you can see that there's this huge stinger in it.
Oh no. Does that stinger have poison in it or anything?
You don't know.
Yeah. Okay. But I was wondering if it had like still had some that we could pull it out and use it against that other guy. Okay, well, I guess I'll lead Tony back to the group and be like, we need your help.
All right, roll a diplomacy check.
16.
16. He sort of looks over the hedge, and sees you guys fighting.
Okay, and then I'll just tell him like that's a monster that's attacking us,
Arrgh.
and that's all. Can you help us?
Okay. He doesn't answer, but we then go to Geralt and his turn.
Alright, Geralt's
What happened to my battle music? I had battle music.
going to attempt to grapple him.
Get away from him.
Okay.
No, but if I can grab him, then he can't like try and stab me.
He's also really big right
Okay, make your grapple attempt. CMB versus his CMD.
Alright, CMB. Let's see.
now. You're +2 to strength right now.
8, okay. Let's see.
Minus to dex, I think.
Minus the dex. -2 to dex. +2 to strength.
That's fine. 8, 15.
15? That does not grab him.
I'm rolling
As you
so
try-
bad.
Rolled, so-
I
As you
have a plus 12, and I rolled a 3.
Damn. Now, you reached out to grab him, but you don't quite land your hit.
With the bonus.
As we then go to Khalil.
Okay, there's nowhere the smoke cloud's gone.
Yes.
No, Cloud. Oh, is it still there or is it gone?
It only lasts for like a couple turns.
Oh, okay. Yep, alright, this is out.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna run up to him and imbue my sword with fire and swing at him.
Alright, make your attack.
Um,
24, your blade cuts across his chest. He cries out in pain as he holds his wound. He looks angrily at you through these lenses that are set into the mosquito mask.
That's 9 points of fire damage and 4 points of slashing damage.
Nice. You deal a sizable blow. He does not take this lightly. Darby, it is your turn.
Alright, so Darby is going to take his supercharged alchemist fire and load it into a crossbow bolt. Level it, aim it at the Sturge, and tell him, "I'm going to burn a lesson into you myself."
Oh.
And I roll a natural one.
Roll a reflex save.
Oh.
20.
I like that you juiced that.
All right, you managed to avoid exploding yourself. As you basically throw the bomb, you sort of like, and it lands between everyone and sort of like,
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
He goes,
which is, I suppose, luckier than, you know, if you'd blown up someone.
Yeah.
All right, the sturgeon rolls a 21 to break free of the Tanglefoot bag.
Yep.
Rolls a 34 to grapple Khalil.
oh, wow. Yeah, of course, of course it's going to hit.
And as he sort of does so, he looks him in the eye. You see the needle point like inches away from your face as he then leaps into the air using whatever's left of his mechanical wings to take flight. And he begins to fly. Tony reaches up and tries to grab hold of the sturgeon's foot. So now you guys are like 30 foot up in the air. Tony's sort of half got his leg, but it looks as though Tony's not going to be able to hold on for much longer. Sorora, you sort of see this happen.
Okay, is it possible that I grab Tony's hand, kind of climb up him, and can I slash at his wings?
Yep, absolutely you can.
Okay, I do that.
All right, you sort of make an acrobatics check.
Okay. 17.
Yep, you climb up onto his back, and he does his absolute best, not only to just sort of hold on, but he's also trying to make his body flatter so it's easier for you to climb up his arm. As you reach the top where the sturgeon is, you can see that Khalil is sort of grabbed. He's now face to face with this thing. You, however, are coming up where his thigh is, but you can reach where his back is still having those mechanical wings for trying frantically to fight against it. Make your attack action.
Oh no. Where is it? Like, do I have a modifier for it?
I think the
Cestus?
Cestus is a dex weapon, right?
No, it's strength-based weapons unless you have weapon finesse. The attack should be calculated on the sheet. Isn't it? Okay, base attack bonus, what's that?
I don't see that anywhere on here either.
Alright, give me a second, I'll look it up.
What, did it just not print out or something? I know we did
Most
that.
of this stuff is like, it's just blank.
Yeah.
No, that's fine, it's pretty easy. Okay, so your base attack bonus is +3. What's her strength bonus?
It's 12, so it's +1.
It's a +1, so 4, so +4.
Plus
+4.
4.
Roll d20 and add 4.
And where do I add that there? Jesus.
Not good.
So it's gonna be 6 because I rolled a 2.
You can use your hero point if you want to re-roll it.
Yeah, use
Yeah.
your point.
I'll use my hero point. 17 plus 4.
21.
That's a lot.
21. With a 21, you drive your claws into the back of the sturgeon, who cries out in pain. Deal your damage, please, for the cestus.
I'm assuming is it a D8 for a cestus or a D6?
I think it's a D4,
Oh wow.
but
This character-
let me just check that.
Man, I don't know where you found it.
That's the one he sent us.
No, I got this. I'll look it up. Don't worry. I mean, this is the finale for the season, so I'll go over everyone's sheet. Just saying. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a D4 points of damage. Yep.
3.
3. Oh, very nice. All right. 3 plus your strength is 4. 4 points of damage to him, which he does not like. You do, however, manage to jam up the wings, and it just sort of malfunctions, and you see this gout of fire burst away from the grip of the giant. Tony catches you as you sort of are about to fall, and the sturgeon's sort of wings crash into the fountain near Geralt. Geralt, you watch as Khalil is about to go slamming into the side of the fountain. Do you want to do anything on your turn in order to prevent this?
Yeah, I'll definitely like try and catch him and prevent it from happening.
All right, make a reflex save.
11.
Oh, that's not going to do it, but you do also have a hero point.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Oh.
Hero point.
Just as another point, you don't need to use it to re-roll. You can use it to just add 4 to the 11.
Yeah. So.
Would that be
15.
enough?
15.
I mean, he's.
I'm not telling you. You have to
He's
decide.
not gonna tell you that. Come on.
I'll re-roll it.
Okay.
Ooh yeah. All right. 25.
Oh, with a 25. All right, with the 25, I'm going to give you something extra as well. So as the two bodies are careening towards the fountain, you leap up in the air, and with almost like cat-like vision, you grab hold of Khalil. You barrel roll and try to land a kick to the side of the sturgeon to separate the two of you.
Oh hell yeah. Oh, can I use my? Oh wait, that would just be my unarmed strike then.
Yeah.
Because I actually have a vicious stomp ability.
You can count the vicious stomp. Why not?
What is that?
It's just basically if there's a character that as soon as they go prone, I get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Let's see here. 20.
20?
20.
Okay. Yep, that'll hit. Roll your damage.
Alright. 10 damage.
10 points of damage. All right, you kick him and he goes crashing into the side of the fountain. Khalil, you sort of collect yourself. As the sturgeon sort of gets back up, his body is sort of like, twitching from the malfunctioning device. He sort of rips it off his body and throws it into the fountain. You can see that his mask is now broken. As he sort of tears it off his face, you can see grinning underneath is Dr. Darius.
Oh, Dr. Darius.
Oh,
And he looks at you. He looks at you and he says, I knew you were trouble. I knew you were trouble from the moment I saw you. Nuisances, bugs, flies, insects, insignificant worms. You've no idea the work I do and what it means for all of us to love. Do you not see? Do you not see the paths that lie within the blood in front of you? You will be first. And he sort of pulls out another one of his, he sort of pulls out that rapier. Well, he's already had it out, but he's sort of like waving it towards Khalil. Come, boy, step forth. Face as I drink your vitality and use it to further my goals.
Without saying anything, I'm gonna run off and try to swing for his neck with my.
all right.
When you
electricity.
said run off, I thought you meant like run away.
No.
Farewell. All right, I'm going to turn this into a moment of drama. The moment of drama is this: you and the sturgeon are going to strike simultaneously. You will basically need to hit him at a higher rate than he hits you. So if you roll a 21 and I roll an 18, you succeed. If he rolls a 21 and you roll a 16, then he succeeds.
Okay.
Just a
Oh,
reminder, he rolled a 34 to hit Gibraltar.
Oh my
All right, ready, Khalil? Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, roll.
19.
He rolled a natural bloody 1 on his attack. And so as he sort of swings, Khalil's blade lunges forward, striking at the edge of the rapier, which bends, buckles, and breaks beneath Khalil's weapon, which keeps thrusting forward into the neck of the sturgeon. It doesn't penetrate his throat, but it does rip loose the rest of his armor and give him a massive gash. He is bleeding profusely as he stops, coughs, and splutters. He sort of staggers backwards into the water. Suddenly, and without warning, it seems as though he's reaching for something in his jacket when a thick mist rolls in from the south. Could I get a will save from everyone, please?
Nope.
Oh, Jesus.
A 5.
Okay. The sturgeon lies defeated in front of you. He says, "Your victory will not bring you success. You have doomed yourselves. You have doomed everyone. If you think that stupid guard or that prince is safe, you have another thing coming. There are far worse horrors that lie in Ustalav's underbelly than simple zombies."
Whatever they are, we'll take them, Doctor.
I got a.
You have 4? Yeah, you have no hope.
Cleo rolled a 28.
Yeah, 28. Okay. He says, "You have no hope. You may as well kill me now. Finish me, boy. Show me that you have what it's worth to be a sweeper in such a horrendous place as Ostalav."
Or not. Khalil's not gonna kill him until he does something else.
He sort of like has the broken sword and he sort of points it at you. "Do it, you coward!"
Just knock him out.
What?
Just knock him out.
Yeah,
We
Khalil's gonna.
interrogate him.
We're gonna save him. Yeah. Or
All right.
I could.
As you go to do so, scintillating patterns start to warp your vision. All 4 of you fall to the ground.
Jeez.
Darby, Sorora, and Geralt, you are all unconscious. Khalil, you fall to the ground paralyzed, but still conscious. As you see a figure, you see boots, Wellington-like feet that sort of walk past you towards the fountain. As a tall, enigmatic figure steps out of the shadows. This creature, standing taller than any man, with a beaked face, a top hat, and a bag filled with surgical doctor's equipment by his side. The man in the fountain, Dr. Darius, looks up in horror. You can see the look on his face. His form turns pale white. He says, "No, it can't be you. This is not right. This isn't meant to happen. I only wanted what was best. No! Please!" He grabs hold of Dr. Darius's hair and starts to pull him out of the fountain. You hear the wet sound of his body hitting the floor. There's a dragging of dirt as the body slides away. He notices you, and he cries out in panic, "Please, help me! Don't let him take me! Don't let him! This is wrong! You can't!" And as he sort of drags further away, his body goes limp. The shadowy figure is no more, disappearing into the dark of the night.
Pickles.
As you all pass out, it is a few hours later when you are awoken by Ogrim, who is treating your wounds. He is trying to tell you to take it easy as he forces a bitter tea down your throat. You sort of come to with this very foul taste in your mouth. No sign of Dr. Darius or the beast. Are you quite all right? Can you hear me?
Ogrim,
Easy, easy, easy. Breathe, breathe.
where's everyone?
Oh,
Prince,
they're all right.
uh,
Everyone's here.
Captain Dreyfus.
Oh, he's fine. Thanks to Sorora, he managed to pull through. If she hadn't been there, he would have succumbed to those wounds. Apparently struck a very vital place, and she managed to stay the bleeding enough time for Arthur to be able to save him. He's currently unconscious and recovering, but he'll make it.
Okay.
We were more concerned about you. We weren't sure if that foul creature had gotten hold of you when you didn't come back.
The doctor.
Where is he?
We beat him. He turned out to be, what was the doctor's name?
Dr. Darius.
It was Dr. Darius.
He was the assistant to Count Turiak.
Count Karamak, right?
Count Carmack.
Count
Yeah.
Karamak's
Count Karamak.
assistants.
Sorry, they were
We had him
kids.
beats. We were ready to grab him, and then all of us, I believe all of us passed out, and a figure with a beaked mask drove him away. And that's the last
Beaked
thing I
mask,
remember.
you say? Well, I don't know anything about that. But listen, just take it easy, slowly. I have some other people that need to attend to. But look, Valentine and Rosenvale are discussing the matter right now. He sort of gestures, and you can see Rosenvale and Valentine sort of with a very concerned look on their face. They're sort of like in a very serious talk. While you've seen Valentine always kind of very serious, you've never seen Rosenvale, kind of that serious.
Where's the beast?
Ogrim. Oh, yeah, sorry, go on.
Is the beast around?
He's
Did he get
just-
knocked unconscious too?
You do not see the beast anywhere. You do look around cursorily, and you kind of can see a bit of the hedge that has sort of been pushed aside, almost as if as if maybe the beast ran through there. I love how that was so uniform just then. Like, oh, damn! I wish we had the common sense to run. No. Yes. No. So beside you, you can actually see Valentine and Rosenvale. Valentine approaches you first, with Rosenvale behind, and he tells you. So you let him get away.
We didn't let him.
Well,
get
we
away.
didn't let him get away. You pompous ass.
Valentine,
happened?
Rosenvale. It
A
was.
new creature came around.
We had him beat. Some terrifying creature put us to sleep and dragged him away.
A creature, you say?
A monster.
Well, I don't
with a
suppose-
beaked mask.
Like a plague doctor.
They both look at each other, and they say, "A plague doctor, come out of nowhere." You say.
Yes, and then there was a mist that made us fall paralyzed and unconscious.
He sort of raises his hand at this point, and he
Hate when that
says,
happens.
and Rosenvale, as Rosenvale raises his hand, Valentine basically goes, "This is stupid," and he walks abruptly away. Valentine sort of waits for him to sort of get some distance, and he sort of says, "Now, are you sure about that, lass? Are you sure that what you saw was a man in a plague doctor's outfit? It wasn't, because people are describing, the sturgeon, in the mask, but, is that what you're talking about? With the big, long
It was
protrusion."
I was on the
Different one.
ground,
No, it was completely different.
but there's
He was
one
way
I
taller.
couldn't forget that.
It looked It wasn't a mosquito mask. It was a plague doctor's mask.
Like a crow.
Actually, technically, the three of us don't even know this because we passed out.
It was him.
Yes, that's true. Only Khalil really knows it, but Khalil can describe it.
Yeah.
I think everyone can. You know what? Khalil told it to you guys. You guys are telling it to everyone. We can work that way. Everyone's
Alright.
involved. He says, "Listen, I have a lot of faith in you, and don't. I apologize for Valentine. He's very stressed out. This is just absolutely a failing on all the security team. But what you're describing something that just doesn't exist. It's just not possible. You're describing. Look, Ustalav has had many mysteries, many things that just don't make sense. This is one of them. There's a serial killer, a man who existed for the last 100 years. No one knows if he's real or not. All they know is that out of a strange mist, this plague doctor arrives, kidnapping people and bisecting them, cutting them from one end to the other. This is just not something that we believe in. Anyone worth their salt knows to leave well enough alone, because you're talking about Dr. D. He's a myth. He's a legend. Many people commit murders and then blame it on him, like the proverbial boogeyman. 100 years ago, several detectives lost their lives looking for this man. This is not something you want to be chasing, all right? I'm not saying you saw what you saw. I'm not saying you didn't. But for the love of all things sacred and holy, you let this lie, all right? I know that you guys might be curious about it, but do yourself a favor. People are alive. No one got hurt. No one's dead. Chalk this up to a win and go.
This must be pretty scary if it scares you.
Oh, this doesn't scare me. I'm afraid for you. Every single case the Sleepless Agency gave out of detectives looking into this, something bad has always happened to them. Accidents, suicides, even people just up and gone missing. And I like you guys. You guys saved me from a tight pinch. So the last thing I want is to see you guys get hurt.
I don't see any reason for us to look into it unless we'd have to.
All right. Well, thank you for that. This is one job that no sweeper is ever going to solve. And with that, he sort of takes it and he sort of moves on from you guys. He sort of writes down your statement and sort of hopes you feel better, and takes his leave.
Dobby's just kind of silently fuming until we get the okay to leave, and then he's just gonna storm off towards the castle.
You're still in the castle. You're in the outer courtyard.
Right, but I mean towards our room.
Oh, right. Yep. You absolutely do so. There you find a letter from the prince commending you on your valiant service and brave sacrifice. In addition, there is 1,000 gold pieces awarded to each of you for your services, as well as an additional 1,000 for actually completing. 2,000 additional for completing the actual quest and acting as security on behalf of Captain Dreyfus, who is sadly indisposed. He says that if ever you guys wish to join the Royal Guard, your presence and your services would be most welcome. In addition, free room and board have been provided by the castle staff for up to a week, so that you guys can get the proper rest and recuperation after your battle with the infamous doctor.
Okay. Just to be clear, that's 3,000 gold apiece.
Correct.
Damn.
Sweet.
Now, breakfast is already waiting for you inside your cabin. It is apparently a full, and I mean full, dwarven breakfast. There are sausages, there's potatoes, hash browns, bacon, tomatoes. It's basically a full-blown, baked beans, everything. And toast. Can't forget the toast. And sunny side eggs. all waiting for you inside your room, cooked with courtesy from the Swedish chef.
Oh.
And you also see a copy of the Pathfinder Daily Chronicle.
I guess while I'm eating, I'll pop a look.
Okay. As you pour through it, once again, I will simply read through some of the stuff that you guys can know. If you want to know about the story, let me know, and I'll read it out to you. The first article is the attack on Castle Corvishaw.
Yeah, we'll read that. Yeah.
Okay. An attack on Castle Corvishaw last night threatened the lives of the Crown Prince. Reports indicate that it was likely an assassination attempt following details that the prince had allied himself with vampiric courts. Witnesses state that a blood-sucking flying monster was the perpetrator of the attack, which leads investigators to suspect the involvement of Count Tyriak and his vampire court. Next article is called Epidemic.
Yeah, I want to read that too.
Sources within the royal palace have divulged new information regarding the recent outbreak of zombie appearances over the past week. A necromantic plague is making its way across the land, and thanks to the efforts of the monster hunting sweepers of Ustalav, military might, and the local militias, the zombies are being destroyed quickly. The mayor of Carrion Crown has also enlisted the help of the Crow mercenaries to aid in future herdings of zombies away from populated areas. When reached for comment, he stated, "I want to avoid another incident like the one we suffered in our own home. While rebuilding is still being attended to, we cannot turn a blind eye. We must rely on our own strength and the strength of good-natured and fortunate people like the Howland Agency to help us in our time of need."
Awesome.
Next article is Information Blackout.
How many of these are there? Because
There's two more.
Oh yeah, just read us both. Yeah.
All right. Ustalav under quarantine. A massive stone... Oh, sorry, there's three more, but one's really short. A massive stone wall has appeared around the borders of Ustalav, built by dwarves overnight. Their only comment was it was ordered by the prince. Blah, 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 blah. When asked why dwarves were used to build it, they said, "Dwarven architecture, lass, goes up in one night and won't come down till the job's done." Teleporting and messaging spells have ceased to function beyond the borders of Ustalav, making communication difficult within this period. The Daily Pathfinder Chronicle, however, will continue to provide its service to keep the news to the public as much as possible. Next one is Discovery in Hyannis. A small coal mine in Hyannis has unveiled an unusual ancient temple. This archaeological find has been stated to be one of the most prominent in the region for quite some time. University lecturers at the University of Lepidstadt have been sent to go and investigate. And lastly, Dr. D sighting in Thrushmore, a city to the far south. Following the centennial anniversary of the infamous serial killer's first series of murders, a reported sighting of him standing outside of an old Thrushmore estate has the people of the village taking extra precautions, locking their doors and barring their windows. Then there's a whole bunch of help wanted stuff, mostly around like missing people and stuff like that, but we will pick that up in the next season or the next book. Lastly, if you guys wish to, if anyone has it, you can make a knowledge history check on Dr. D.
I will. Has it? Never mind.
I think I have knowledge history, actually. Well, no, I have class 3, but 0.
14.
14?
Yes.
Okay, with a 14, hundreds of victims have been found bisected over the past 100 years, with a strange calling card left on the scene. Investigators are granted a small black letter with the letter D written on it. Rumors circulate that there is no, in fact, real Dr. D, and that the urban legend is perpetrated by assassins who use the persona to conceal their work. Was there another history check?
No.
Nope. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, and with a whole series of jobs on the horizon for the Howland agencies, it brings to close the Blood Moon Ball. Will our adventurers find their feet as members of the Howland agency now that they have earned a reputation, saving the prince, stopping a zombie apocalypse, and of course having an encounter with a all but an urban legend? Will they heed Rosenfeld's warning and leave well enough alone, or will curiosity kill these 4 proverbial cats? Find out next season on Tales from the Undertaker. I am Michael, and this is the crew. Do we have the outro thingy maybe as we do the end of game plug? We did go very late today, and I do apologize for that.
It's all good.
I kind of, ending where we did was like, oh, it's so hard, but yeah. We'll do this super quick. Do we have it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. So as you guys know, my name is Michael, and I run the Ask a Pathfinder Facebook page, now on YouTube. So now I've actually started my YouTube channel, and there is some stuff you guys can check out. If you want to come, basically any advice on tabletop role-playing games, not just Pathfinder, but other things, feel free to look me up at facebook.com/AskAPathfinder. There's some cool articles, some fun games to play there, as well as some other things that I do streaming for. If you want to talk to me personally, I am always up for a great chat, and you can find me at www.discord.me/AskAPathfinder, and I offer free one-on-one coaching and advice for anyone who is hosting their games. And of course, speaking of games and all kinds of really cool and awesome stuff, take it away, Zach.
Hi, my name's Zach. Today is Tuesday.
No.
Today's Monday, guys.
Oh my God, guys! Today's Monday.
That means tomorrow's Tuesday,
I
which
got 'em all
means
screwed
that
up.
everything's all
I know, it's
screwed
so
up.
weird. So weird. All right.
Tomorrow, guys,
go on.
sit down and pile driver. It's our best and only wrestling podcast show, hosted by the great Connor and Connor. Both of their names are Connor, which is ridiculous.
Connor Square.
It's actually it's a really cool show, and Connor does it very well and is very into it. It's very interesting to watch. This Saturday, though, any locals, I don't know, but we're doing a live script read of a Dragon Ball Z script that's a Bakugan with a ton of awesome voice actors. It'll be really cool. And also, guys, this show next week, I believe, I don't know what's going on, is the beginning of book 2, correct?
Yes. I think unless of course someone's got tickets to a show or something, just saying.
Anyone want to speak up?
We're gonna. Yeah. No. We will be going
next week. No.
Yeah, we will be coming back to Tales from the Undertaker next week with a brand new format, brand new look, and a whole new energy.
DM.
No, what? Wait, when did that happen? What? No. I will DM. You will have to pry me from this screen, kicking and screaming. Yes, we'll be back next week. And of course, for you guys in the States, that'll be on the Tuesday once more. And for you in Australia, like me, that'll be on Wednesday. But it's, of course, during the day, so you should be at work. Or you could be listening in at work, in which case, this is a family-friendly channel. No, it's not really.
No.
No. I try, okay? I try as much as I can.
This is probably the family-friendly show, which is a big thing to say.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some horrifying things happen on this show. I may not cuss and I may not swear too often, but some of the stuff, give you nightmares. Okay, seeing as this is the finale, what I want to do just real quick, super quick, less than 5 minutes. I want everyone to just quickly tell me what was the most memorable part of book 1 for you guys. You got 5 seconds to decide, and I'm going to start with Khalil. What was your most memorable moment for this season?
Khalil's most memorable moment, probably. It has to be Raylan getting her head cut off. That or the cool moment where I shattered that dude's blade. But it's probably the Raylan getting.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. The blade crashing was cool. Finally, it's yay, things worked out for Khalil. Towards the end, and he finally did something cool. But no, the Raylan thing is. Oh man, that still gets me. What about you, John?
Well,
Well, Zach stole mine, but
It's gonna be everyone's probably.
I would say my favorite moment of something that Geralt did was fighting those undead and using a healing potion and shoving it
all of our
down
healing
their throats.
Wasting all
and
the
just
healing potions.
Immediately dealing like 16 points of damage.
800
pretty
gold
awesome.
worth of punches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yep.
sick. It was pretty sick.
Just on zombies, nonetheless. That was
Yeah.
at the very least, it was pretty epic. Honestly, though, I will say this that Geralt. I'll come back to it, but Geralt is actually the feature of probably my favorite moment in the season. But
Hey.
let's keep moving on. Justin.
My favorite moment was us infiltrating the castle to test the defensives. The defenses
pretty fun,
was
yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
Probably the most memorable was John's interaction with that halfling lady who died and didn't process that she was dead, and like delivering her to her family.
one. Oh.
That was
that
so.
was pretty
That was yeah. That kind of hurt in some places. I was just like, and Madison. Obviously, Madison came in about halfway, about maybe like 3/4 of the way through. Like you were already on your way to Corvishaw by the time that
Yeah.
Madison joined in. But what you got to play, what do you reckon your favorite moment was?
Well, as the character, I would say my favorite moment is being saved by this group and being whisked away on this journey. But I'd say I really liked meeting the Lepistat beast. I think
Aw.
it was really
Oh, Pogo.
Oh, Pogo,
Pogo.
yeah.
The Lepistat Beast is like our new Pogo.
Yep. No, the Leopard Beast, I did want to make him a big sweetie. And the thing is like, you will meet characters like that who at the end of the game, like I'm talking like book 6 kind of thing, all of the friends you make along the way will all add up. You know what I mean? Like some people will look at Pogo or look at the Beast and sort of see monsters, but you guys making friends with monsters as sweepers makes a big difference. And I think you'll get, it's good that you'll get to see all that. My personal favorite moment from this season has actually got to be the moment where we thought Pogo had sacrificed his life, because it was at a cliffhanger. So like the previous episode, someone had been shot by one of the zombies with a gun.
Yeah.
And I hadn't told them who, and everyone came in and they were completely reserved to the fact that, yes, one of us is going to get killed. It's going to happen. And everyone was like, it's going to be me, but I'm okay. I'll play another character. It's going to be me and I'll be okay with it. And then as soon as it was Pogo, the look on John's face, right, was like, it was priceless. You could just see that he'd built himself this nice little safety net. Like, I'm prepared to die. I'm prepared for any of these guys to die. And then as soon as I said it was Pogo, no! No! What do you mean it was Pogo? I'm not ready for this! I wasn't ready for that!
I was genuinely really upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I do this, you know? Like, I mean, yeah, to upset John. No, I do this because storytelling creates such a visceral, emotional response, and I loved you guys. You guys were awesome. You guys fell into all the different things, and I just had a great time. So thank you very much for this season, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. The next season is going to be happening next week, but I will be talking to you guys in the chat in the interim, so I've got to go right now. But thank you very much again, guys, and thank you to our beloved audience. Please tune in next week because we'll be back on schedule, regular times, with, of course, a lot more things like the plot twist cards, create your own NPCs, stuff like that, and a lot of really cool games that'll allow you to interact with these guys during their adventure. So tune in for that. And as always, guys, keep your dice rolling and make sure your ideas stay mindworm free. Have a good one, guys.